Phoenix Nights. Chapter 1184. The speed of the young cultivator was extremely fast. Not only did he dodge the attack of the white-robed Shin King, he also instantly approached the white-robed Shin King and punched the white-robed Shin King's chest. The punch caused the white-robed Shin King's body to bend like a prawn. His internal organs seemed to have been shattered, and blood spurted out from his mouth. Bam! The young cultivator's fist shook, and the white-robed Shin King was immediately sent flying. The clothes on his body were torn into thousands of pieces, fluttering in the air like butterflies. How is this possible? The white-clothed deity sovereign was both shocked and furious. He was a deity sovereign of the Great Perfection realm, an absolute powerhouse among those in the same realm. But now, he was sent flying by a single punch. Could it be that this person was even more terrifying than Gu Fei? The white-robed Shin King couldn't help but be shocked. The opponent's battle strength was too heaven-defying. This person was not an almighty, but an emperor in the celestial being realm like him. Roar! The white-robed Shin King roared. Rays of divine light emitted from his body. The dazzling divine light illuminated the entire dark sky, and the divine power spread across the 9 heavens. The injured body quickly recovered. The white-robed Shin King's body was crystal clear like a peerless divine jade. Rays of divine light circulated, displaying the peerless aura of the Shin King. A sonorous sound came from the white-robed Shin King's body. It was as if thousands of divine weapons were unsheathed from his body. His entire body seemed to have turned into a heavenly sword, and his aura became extremely sharp. This is... The young cultivator was also shocked. The opponent was actually a Sword Emperor. The Sword Emperor was the strongest among the emperors of the same realm. The Shin King had the strongest attack power, and there were few who could be a match for him in the same realm. 9 heavens magic sword kill! The white-robed Shin King roared. 9 rays of dazzling sword light rushed out of his body. Endless sword chi spread out from the 9 rays of sword light, and the heaven and earth lost their color. The 9 beams of sword light lit up the world and attracted the power of the 9 heavens. 9 beams of divine light shot down from the sky and merged with the 9 beams of sword light. It was as if heaven and earth had been enraged, and the sword of the heavens that could slay everything descended. Wherever the 9 beams of sword light pointed, the void would be cut apart, shattered, and twisted into nothingness. There was nothing that could be left behind. The young cultivator felt a great deal of pressure, but he still maintained a calm expression. There was still a trace of an evil smile on his face. Heavenly magic sword? Interesting. It's worth me, Hei Tian, to take it seriously. The young cultivator muttered to himself. This guy was the Hei Tian who was separated from Gu Fei. Hei Tian was heavily injured in the battle with the Scorpion Devil, but this fellow had many spirit herbs on him. Even the 70 to 80,000-year-old medicine sovereign had a few stocks with him. It wasn't good to be injured in the Great Tomb. One had to know that there were powerful enemies all around, and no one would show mercy. Being killed here wasn't a rare thing. For millions upon millions of years, the great necropolis had appeared several times, and each time it did, countless powerful figures would come seeking the chance to ascend to sainthood. Most of those who entered the necropolis perished in its fearsome formations, but there were also quite a few who died at the hands of other cultivators. Hei Tian didn't dare to be careless. He consumed a medicine sovereign, and under the effect of the medicine sovereign, his injuries were quickly healed. A medicine sovereign that had grown for 70 to 80,000 years was extremely rare in the world. It was extremely difficult to find one. Such a medicine sovereign could regenerate flesh and bones from the dead. It had unimaginable miraculous effects. With a medicine sovereign in hand, it was like having a life-saving talisman. No matter how serious the injuries on the body were, as long as one consumed the medicine sovereign in time, they would be completely healed. In Gu Fei's inner world, there was no lack of spirit herbs. Countless spirit herbs grew around the god's spring of life. Among them, there were incomparably precious medicine sovereigns, and even an undying divine herb. This fellow, Hei Tian, had long been eyeing the spirit herbs in Gu Fei's inner world. Although Gu Fei's inner world was guarded by the Undying clan, this fellow still managed to steal a few medicine sovereigns. 9 divine swords slashed down from the sky, seemingly capable of cutting down the stars in the sky. Endless sword chi filled the air, causing the temperature of the entire world to drop to freezing point. The 9 resplendent sword lights connected the heavens and the earth, sealing the space around He Tian. The sword chi was all-pervasive, like flowing mercury, making it impossible for He Tian to dodge. Bam! He Tian directly blasted out with his palm. Endless yin and yang energy intertwined in his palm, forming a giant yin-yang palm. One hand to cover the sky. He Tian's expression didn't change. The giant yin-yang palm instantly grew to the size of a mountain, blocking the entire heaven and earth, and collided with the 9 sword lights. Buzz! The 9 sword lights vibrated, emitting a vast and mighty sword chi that cut through the void. They wanted to pierce through the yin-yang palm that He Tian had struck out and strangle He Tian. However, the yin and yang energy intertwined in the giant yin-yang palm, evolving into the yin and yang of the heaven and earth. There was also a Taoist rhyme circulating around it, making it impossible for the 9 sword lights to penetrate it. Boom! The giant yin-yang palm vibrated, and endless yin and yang energy surged out from the giant hand like a volcanic eruption. This power was simply too strong and indestructible. The 9 sword lights continuously vibrated, but they only managed to resist for a while before collapsing in the void. The soaring sword chi was obliterated by the giant hand. However, just as He Tian performed his supreme magic, covering the sky with one hand and obliterating the 9 sword lights descending from the sky, the void around him suddenly shattered. The 9 divine swords tore through the void and slashed out towards He Tian. He Tian couldn't help but be stunned. This guy is really cunning. He seems to be attacking with all his might, but it's just a cover for his true killing move. It has to be said that such an attack is really hard to guard against. If it was an ordinary sovereign, they would probably be dead by now. Unfortunately, the white-robed Shen King ran into He Tian. In this world, apart from the old tortoise and the little monk Fan Xiu, it was He Tian's turn. Speaking of sneak attacks, this was simply He Tian's specialty. Yin-yang shift! He Tian roared. Immediately, a strange power that was formed by the interweaving of yin and yang energies surged out of his body, causing the void around him to distort. The 9 divine swords that pierced towards He Tian vibrated at the same time. Then, the 9 divine swords lost their aim and flew past He Tian's side. They didn't even touch He Tian's clothes. What? The white-robed Shen King was shocked. He thought his killing move was foolproof, but it was countered by his opponent. He was dumbfounded and in disbelief. He couldn't believe what he was seeing at all. Shen King, who was at the phenomenal success realm, went all out and used such a vicious method. Yet he still couldn't kill his opponent. The white-robed Shen King felt that something was wrong. Swoosh! 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 The divine swords flew across the sky. The 9 divine swords didn't hit Gu Fei and were called back by the white-robed Shen King. The 9 divine swords danced around him. In the heaven realm, the Sword Emperor represented combat strength. Sword Emperors of the same rank were stronger than other sovereign realm experts. This was something that everyone in the heaven realm knew. The Sword Emperor with unparalleled combat strength had a bad start. This made the white-robed Shen King want to retreat. Humph! You want to leave? You won't have the chance! The evil look on He Tian's face became even more intense. He revealed a disdainful expression and said with an evil smile. It was as if he could see through the white-robed Shen King. No matter if it was the aura or the rhythm of the battle, it was all under his control. The white-robed Shen King had no chance at all. Who are you? There doesn't seem to be any hatred between us. The white-robed Shen King's expression was extremely solemn. The opponent was too powerful. They were both sovereign realm experts, but the opponent's combat strength could completely suppress an advanced sovereign realm expert. This made the white-robed Shen King's heart turn cold. The people of the primordial era Emperor Xian should all die, He Tian said coldly. Not long ago, he was chased by the experts sent by the primordial era Emperor Xian for thousands of miles. Could it be that you are? The white-robed Shen King felt the killing intent of He Tian and couldn't help but change his expression. He was definitely not the opponent's match. At this time, he also thought of what happened in the eastern land not long ago. He Tian didn't say anything more. He took a step forward and instantly pressed forward. A terrifying aura swept forward like a mountain torrent. The white-robed Shen King subconsciously retreated. He Tian stretched out his big hand and slapped forward. The violent palm force crushed the void in front of him. The power of yin and yang intertwined in his hand. The mighty power that was released could simply obliterate everything. Buzz! The 9 divine swords around the white-robed Shen King let out a dragon roar. The 9 divine swords emitted endless sword light and blocked forward. He Tian's big hand constantly collided with the 9 peerless divine swords. The yin-yang divine light circulated in his palm, allowing his hand to resist the peerless divine swords. Even with the protection of the yin-yang divine light, He Tian dared to resist the peerless divine swords. This was enough to prove that his physical body was also very strong. Although it couldn't compare to Gu Fei, it was still very abnormal. It seemed that only martial artists would dare to use their physical body to resist divine weapons. The white-robed Shen King couldn't help but be shocked when he saw that He Tian only used one hand to resist his 9 divine swords. He was scared to the extreme. After blocking He Tian with the 9 divine swords, he soared into the sky and fled toward the exit of the Supreme Tomb. As long as he could escape, he would be able to soar freely in the sky and swim freely in the sea. Even this fellow wouldn't be able to catch up to him. There was some kind of power enveloping the Supreme Tomb. In this place, even the transportation formations were rendered useless. It was impossible to use them to escape through the void. When He Tian saw that the white-robed Shen King wanted to escape, he immediately used an unfathomable divine ability to deflect the 9 divine swords. He chased after the white-robed Shen King and stomped him down from the sky. A grand completion sovereign was nothing in He Tian's eyes. Unless it was a sovereign with a special bloodline, there was nothing to fear even if a large group of them came. Without any suspense, He Tian charged down from the sky and slapped the white-robed Shen King's head until it exploded. Even the white-robed Shen King's yuan spirit was scattered by the palm force. Chapter 1185. He Tian's cultivation had already surpassed the celestial being realm. He was already half a step away from becoming a powerful cultivator. Killing an advanced level emperor was as easy as killing an ant for him. It would not take him much effort at all. It seemed like Lu 5 after killing the white-robed Shen King. He Tian turned around and looked into the depths of this world. There was a mighty great Tao there, and it was a perfect great Tao. This peerless tomb really gave birth to incredible things. He Tian seemed to know something. His expression was extremely solemn. The mighty pressure coming from the depths of this world was too powerful. It was as if an extreme saint was awakening. Many important figures retreated. No one could withstand the mighty pressure coming from the depths of this world. Almost everyone chose to retreat. In the vicinity of the entrance to the great necropolis, people began to emerge one after another. Apparently, they had just experienced a fierce battle, and some of them were stained with blood, while others had holes pierced through them, causing immortal god blood to ooze out. Why hasn't the boss retreated yet? He Tian did not sense Gu Fei's aura. The exit of the peerless tomb was right in front of him. Cultivators kept leaving. At this time, even the emperor of the celestial being realm could not withstand it anymore. I don't care anymore. He Tian turned around and walked out of the entrance of the tomb. At this time, no one could stay in this peerless tomb unless they were half-saints. At this time, only half-saints were qualified to take action. Rumble. Strange sounds like muffled thunder came from the depths of this world. There, the great Tao was intertwining. The great Tao was vast and mighty. Beams of divine light shot into the sky from time to time, connecting the sky and the earth. Gu Fei wanted to leave this world that was said to have the hope of becoming a saint as soon as possible. However, just as he was about to go in the direction of the exit of this world, a figure stopped him. "Stinking brat, come with me!" The person directly grabbed Gu Fei and flew into the sky. He flew quickly towards the place where the great Tao was intertwining. This was not to leave this world. Old tortoise! Gu Fei was shocked and horrified. He was stunned by the scene in front of him. He saw countless great paths intertwining in the 49 Dragon Mountains. The countless Tao marks interweaved to form a gigantic cocoon. A powerful life force ripple came out of the cocoon. A life born from countless Tao marks was no small matter. It was Old Tortoise who had captured Gu Fei. The Old Tortoise used the Tai Sovereign Seal to protect himself. He moved quickly within the formation as if there was no one there. The power of the extreme holy weapon had even attracted the spiritual chi of this part of the world. Outside the 49 Dragon Mountains, Old Tortoise and Guam Fei landed on a hill. "What do you want?" Gu Fei trembled in fear as he faced the mighty aura of the extreme Tao. If it were not for the power of the Tai Sovereign Seal protecting him and Old Tortoise, he would have died many times over. The aura of the extreme Tao was vast and boundless. It was as if he was facing a whole new world. It was so terrifying that even a half-saint could not withstand it. No one could get so close. If Old Tortoise did not have the Tai Sovereign Seal to protect him, he would not have been able to get close to this place. Endless draconic energy rose from the 49 Dragon Mountains. 49 illusory dragons circled above the Dragon Mountains. Their heads faced the cocoon, formed by the Tao marks, and constantly spewed out draconic energy of the earth to nourish the unknown life inside. The person who set up this plan is really amazing. I'm afraid this is another kind of rebirth of that person, Old Tortoise said. The Tao marks intertwined to form a complete great Tao. This was something that could make anyone go crazy. If one could seize the fruit of the way nurtured by the 49 Dragon Mountains, it would be impossible not to become a saint. Someone buried himself here? Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. The person who could set up such a heaven-defying plan must be a supreme existence of the extreme Tao. How could such an existence bury himself? The hope of becoming a saint was right in front of them. No one could remain calm. Gu Fei was also very excited. Old Tortoise did not say much and directly asked Gu Fei to borrow the extreme sacred weapons of the mountain and river cauldron, half of the peerless saber, and the violet gold divine sword. Gu Fei had all three extreme sacred weapons. You want to break this extreme Tao formation using the same method you used to break the 9 dragons fighting for the pearl? Gu Fei was shocked to the extreme. The Old Tortoise really seemed to be planning on doing that, using the extreme holy weapon to suppress the formation, and then completely breaking it. Buzz! The mountain and river cauldron vibrated. This was an extreme sacred weapon that had already nurtured a soul. Impacted by the aura of the extreme Tao, the cauldron's soul was awakening. Primordial chaos chi was faintly discernible on the ancient cauldron. Runes containing great Tao began to appear on the body of the cauldron. A trace of extreme Tao divine might was emitted from the mountain and river cauldron. As soon as the mountain and river cauldron appeared, the 49 Dragon Mountains immediately calmed down. This extreme sacred weapon displayed the supreme power to suppress the mountains and rivers. Swoosh! Half of the peerless ominous saber soared into the sky, emitting a domineering saber chi. It cut through the void and shattered the heavens and earth before being inserted into one of the array eyes. Rumble! The entire area shook violently and the aura of the extreme Tao began to quickly recede. Although it did not break the extreme Tao formation, it reduced the power of the formation to its lowest point. The essence of the world spewing out from the 49 dragon heads was obviously much weaker. There was a faint dragon's roar that lingered between heaven and earth. The moment the peerless ominous saber was inserted into the array eyes, the 49 dragon shadows in the sky immediately dissipated. The vision of heaven and earth disappeared. The purple gold divine sword also flew up and inserted itself into another array eye. The aura of the extreme Tao that the entire extreme Tao formation emitted immediately disappeared. Even so, the extreme Tao formation could not be considered broken. It was only temporarily suppressed by the two extreme sacred weapons. There was still a peerless killing intent hidden in this area. As long as the extreme sacred weapons were removed from the two array eyes and the mountain river cauldron that was suppressing the 49 dragon mountains, the extreme Tao formation would be revived again and display the power of the extreme Tao. Only the extreme sacred weapons could suppress the power of the extreme Tao formation, and one extreme sacred weapon was not enough. At least two were needed. Done! The old tortoise breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, even he himself was not sure if he could really suppress the power of the extreme Tao formation, but he did not expect it to work. The method worked. Originally, the extreme Tao formation was suppressed by a divine weapon of the extreme Tao. It was only after the old tortoise removed the divine weapon that the extreme Tao formation could be revived. After the divine weapon was pulled out by the old tortoise, it turned into flying ashes. The old tortoise brought Gu Fei to the sky from the hill and arrived above the giant cocoon. He then opened his inner world and swallowed it down. He wanted to take the giant cocoon that was interwoven with endless Tao marks into his inner world. Just at this moment, a golden beam of light shot over from the distance. An auspicious and peaceful Buddhist power rippled through the world as a gigantic figure of a Buddha appeared between the heaven and earth. Stretching out a gigantic hand, it grabbed at the gigantic cocoon below. Damn bald donkey! Chapter 1186. The old tortoise was enraged and his eyes were red. He had always been the one to steal from others. No one dared to steal from him. This little monk Fan Xiu was truly despicable. Go to hell! The old tortoise directly shook the Taiwan seal. Countless runes rushed out from the seal. An extreme divine might spread out, and even the void was annihilated. The golden Buddha's hand was immediately shattered by the extreme divine might of the Taiwan seal. Specks of Buddhist light, like golden stars, vanished in the void. Heaven-defying divine items belong to those who are fated. The little monk Fan Xiu sat on the lotus platform with a solemn expression. Rays of Buddhist light circled around his body, and a golden halo was fixed behind his head. It was as if the heavenly Buddha had come back to earth. The peaceful power of Buddhism spread across the sky and the earth. The little monk Fan Xiu displayed the great power of Buddhism that could save all living beings. Those with weaker cultivations would most likely be converted. Even Gu Fei felt an inexplicable sense of closeness in his heart, and he felt an urge to convert to Zhang Xian. This feeling only flashed through Gu Fei's mind for a moment before he came to his senses. The cultivation power of Buddhism was simply too incredible. One should know that Gu Fei's mind was extremely firm and unshakable. However, just now, he almost lost control of his mind. This was something that had never happened before. It seemed that, no wonder Buddhism could still exist in this world after so many years and had tens of thousands of believers. This was a forceful conversion. The old tortoise was truly angry. He had spent a lot of effort to control this supreme matrix, but this little monk Fan Xiu wanted to steal it. There was no such thing in this world. Rumble! The Taiwan seal emitted divine light and became as huge as a mountain. Countless runes intertwined and the rhythm of the great path was mighty. This was a flawless great path that could destroy the world. It was as if hundreds of thousands of ancient divine mountains were sinking. The entire world was collapsing. Even the 49 dragon mountains below were shaking and showing signs of collapsing. There seemed to be dragon roars lingering in the world, as if thousands of real dragons were wailing. If a divine weapon of the extreme path were to display its true power, it would be equivalent to an attack from a saint of the extreme path. The entire world could be destroyed. Little monk Fan Xiu did not dare to be negligent. He channeled his Buddhist techniques with all his might and a Buddha shadow rushed out from the top of his head. A huge Buddha appeared in the void. It was as if the entire world had transformed into a peaceful Buddhist kingdom. Buddhist chants and chanting could be heard in the air, and an incredible Buddhist power could cause one to feel converted. The aura exuded by the great Buddha was simply too powerful, able to contend against the Tai Huang seal. It was as if a supreme Buddha had descended, and the aura of the great Tao permeated the air. The golden palm that was as huge as a mountain retreated, and the might of the extreme path was vast and mighty. The Tai Huang seal and the Buddha's palm collided in an instant. This was the collision of the two powers of the great path. The entire world could not withstand it, and was instantly torn apart like a thin piece of paper. The terrifying power came crashing down, and the entire area almost collapsed. The 49 Dragon Mountains almost collapsed. At the critical moment, lines of runes appeared in the sky above the entire area. These were the extreme path runes that were imprinted in the earth. Under the impact of the extreme path's power, these runes condensed and drew upon the power of the entire earth to counteract the extreme path's divine might that came crashing down from the sky. Buzz! The mountain and river cauldrons shook, and the chaotic primordial chi surged. This was the ancestral chi of heaven and earth, and a trace of it could crush a mountain range. The destructive power that swept down from the sky was reduced by more than half. The purple gold divine sword and the peerless blade both emitted divine light that shot up to the sky. They were evolving the great Tao on their own to resist the power of the Tai Huang seal and the great Buddha. The entire area did not collapse, and the extreme path runes could not be erased. The three extreme path divine weapons were all reviving and evolving the great Tao on their own to resist the extreme path's divine might that came crashing down from the sky. Gu Fei and the old turtle stood together. Although they were protected by the Tai Huang seal, their spiritual souls were still shaken. They felt an unimaginable pressure, and their minds almost collapsed. This was the terrifying power displayed by the limit of the great Tao, and this power had not fully recovered. No one below the Saint Plane could completely revive the extreme path divine weapons. Several great Taos clashed. These were different great Taos, but they all reached the same goal by different means. They all represented the strongest power in the world, and it was difficult to determine who was superior. But in the end, the Tai Huang seal was superior. The shadow of the great Buddha in the void was impacted by the Tai Huang seal and dimmed. Its great Taos were almost scattered. In this place, the old turtle could attack with all his strength because this place was sealed by the extreme path divine weapons and was protected by the extreme path matrix. Unless a true saint of the extreme path came, no one could destroy this place. Whoosh! A figure rushed out from the Tai Huang seal. It was a blurry figure that seemed to be wearing a crown, and it had a soul-stirring aura. The soul of a divine weapon? Fan Xiu, who was sitting cross-legged on the lotus throne, was shocked. He never thought that the old turtle could revive the soul of a divine weapon. This was not good. Little monk Fan Xiu knew his own situation. Although his lotus platform was a holy object of the ancient Buddhist masters, it was not a true Buddhist weapon. This was because this lotus platform did not have a soul. The shadow that rushed out from the Tai Huang seal was like the reincarnation of the Tai Huang seal, displaying supreme divine might. With just one blow, the shadow of the great Buddha in the void was scattered. Fan Xiu's expression changed, and he immediately rushed into the distance. The soul of the Tai Huang seal turned into a human, like the incarnation of the great Tao. Supreme divine laws appeared, and Fan Xiu was so frightened that he did not dare to fight back. He immediately turned around and fled. Unless Fan Xiu also had a perfect Buddhist weapon, there was no way he could compete with the Tai Huang seal. The old turtle also risked his life. He did not hesitate to sacrifice his vitality to awaken the soul of the Tai Huang seal, urging the soul to kill this living being. However, Fan Xiu did not fight him head-on. The soul of the Tai Huang seal was equivalent to the incarnation of the great Tao. With Fan Xiu's current cultivation, if he did not have a Buddhist weapon to protect him, he would probably be killed in a single exchange. The old turtle did not chase after him. At this time, the blurry figure flew back and entered the Tai Huang seal. The old turtle's face turned pale in an instant, and his body swayed, almost falling from the sky. With the old turtle's cultivation, it was absolutely difficult for him to urge the soul of the Tai Huang seal to kill the enemy. However, He was a relative of the Tai Huang seal and had received the true teachings of the Tai Huang seal, so he could use it with ease. Even so, the old turtle paid a great price to urge the soul of the Tai Huang seal. He looked a little tired, and there were signs of him collapsing. Chapter 1187. Extreme imperial weapons of the Great Path possessed incredible power. They were the carriers of the flawless Great Path comprehended by the Extreme Path cultivators. They were branded with the flawless Great Path divine markings and nurtured the Extreme Path soldier soul. The Extreme Path soldier soul of the Tai Sovereign's seal could be said to be another manifestation of the Tai Sovereign's life. It was a supreme existence derived from the intertwining of the Great Path. The old turtle did not hesitate to sacrifice his vitality to summon the Extreme Path soldier soul to scare away the little monk, Fan Xiu, who was his greatest enemy. But just when he thought he could breathe a sigh of relief, something unexpected happened again. Boom! With a loud noise, the void around the Great Path fetus, which was formed by countless intertwining marks of the Great Path, suddenly collapsed. It was as if the world had opened its mouth to swallow the Great Path fetus. How dare you! Who dares to spoil my plans? The old turtle was about to go crazy. A saintly might surged from the depths of the collapsed void. Someone was driving a holy weapon in the dark, trying to take away the Great Path fetus. Gu Fei was extremely shocked. The old turtle had a holy weapon of the Great Path, but it was still difficult to intimidate the people in the dark. This surprised him. What kind of people were they? You're forcing me to kill! The old turtle did not want to kill the cultivators in the dark, but now that things had come to this, it seemed that he had to kill a few to establish his might. Tai Sovereign Soul's severing technique! The old turtle roared. A strong light suddenly emerged from between his eyebrows. There seemed to be a divine eye in the middle of his eyebrows. Swoosh! Several shadows rushed out from between the old turtle's eyebrows. Gu Fei was right beside the old turtle. He felt a peerless murderous intent, which made his hair stand on end. The phantoms instantly disappeared into the depths of the collapsing world, and a few screams immediately rang out from the pitch-black chaotic void. It was unknown how far away they were, but the three extremely powerful auras on a certain hill in this peerless tomb disappeared in an instant. A disc-shaped saint artifact fell out of the void. A figure rushed over from afar and climbed up the hill. What he saw shocked him to the core. 3 extremely powerful emperors were sitting in a formation, but all of them were dead. In front of the 3 emperors, there was a saint artifact that was still flashing with light and Tao runes. That person was completely dumbfounded. 3 emperors were dead and blood seeped out from the center of their brows. There were no more injuries on their bodies. The Tai Huang's secret technique was truly terrifying. Even though they were separated by who knew how many miles, they were still able to kill powerful beings. Furthermore, they had killed 3 powerful beings at the severing path at the same time. The fall of 3 almighty emperors would definitely cause a huge upheaval in the heaven realm. As for what would happen, no one knew. Looks like LU5. In Chumph! You're courting death! At this moment, the old tortoise was incomparably powerful. He had to obtain the Tao core in front of him. This was a Tao core condensed from a flawless great Tao, and it had endless wondrous uses. In this world where it was impossible to become a saint, this Tao embryo was the hope of achieving Tao. Whoever could get it would have the opportunity to become an invincible saint. Rumble! The old tortoise's inner world pressed down from the sky. The power of heaven and earth spread in all directions. An endless essence of heaven and earth surged out from the opened inner world. The power of the inner world formed 49 heavenly blades that contained the laws of the inner world. They rushed out from the inner world, trying to cut off the connection between the Tao core and the 49 dragon mountains. Between the 49 dragon mountains and the Tao core, there were 49 Tao runes. The essence of the dragon mountains flowed along the Tao runes and continuously gathered towards the Tao core. The 49 heavenly blades descended from the sky and slashed at the 49 Tao runes. The clanging sound was endless. The heavenly blades that contained the laws of the inner world could not shake the Tao runes. The old tortoise's inner world was not a truly perfect world. The laws derived from it were not perfect. It was impossible to use the power of the flawed laws to cut the flawless Tao runes. It seems like I still have to use the Tai Huang seal. The old tortoise was somewhat helpless. If he used the Tai Huang seal to cut off the 49 Tao runes, it would cause him to lose his vitality again. If there were still people secretly watching, he would be in danger. The mysterious yellow skeleton has not shown up yet. Gu Fei transmitted his voice to the old tortoise. He had seen the mysterious yellow skeleton appear in this peerless tomb. It was definitely a ruthless character that almost killed the primordial Tao Master. What? The old tortoise was shocked when he heard this. The opponent was not a kind person. He felt a little uneasy. The mysterious yellow skeleton must be secretly watching. This guy was very mysterious and very powerful. Everyone saw the mysterious yellow skeleton's attack in the pseudo-heaven realm. Even the great emperors were not a match for it. It almost killed the primordial Tao Master. The primordial Tao Master also entered the heaven realm, but he did not show up. Perhaps he had not recovered from the injuries he suffered in that battle. No one knew where he was hiding to recuperate. However, the arrow was already on the bowstring. It had to be released. The old tortoise did not hesitate. He immediately used the supreme technique and activated the Tai Huang seal. The seal was shaking. Countless extreme Tao runes emerged on the seal, interweaving into flawless Tao and truth. 49 Tao runes of the great Tao fell from the Tai Huang seal and slashed at the 49 flawless Tao runes connected to the Tao core. This was a battle of extreme Tao power. Buzz! The void was shaking. The Tai Huang seal was branded with the flawless Tao law that the Tai Huang had comprehended. The Tao runes that fell from the Tai Huang seal were the embodiment of the great Tao. The embryo of Tao seemed to have sensed the danger. Countless patterns of Tao lit up, and an extremely dreadful divine power spread out from the embryo of Tao. The whole world seemed to be collapsing. This embryo of Tao was nurtured by the power of the entire world, and because of its existence, the entire world lost its vitality. Now that the Tao embryo was moving, the entire world was shaking. All the experts who had entered this part of the world felt a great sense of danger. Even if they had divine tools to protect themselves, it was not safe at this time. Some people began to retreat, but some were still watching. The hope of becoming a saint was too tempting. Even if they had to risk their lives, it was absolutely worth it. The Tao runes that fell from the Tai Huang seal were like the Milky Way hanging upside down. They could crush the ancient heavens. Nothing could resist them. When the two Tao runes collided, nothing terrible happened. The Tao runes intertwined and the void was silently annihilated. The Tao core became more and more restless. A vague divine thought came out. It was like a newborn baby's divine sense, which was as white as a piece of paper. This divine sense emitted a frightening fluctuation, like a frightened child. This. Chapter 1188. Both Gu Fei and the old turtle were shocked that a new life had been born in the Tao embryo. They had thought that a supreme figure from ancient times was buried there, but they didn't expect it to be like this. No one was able to find out exactly when this peerless tomb had appeared. Not even the super antiques who had survived the late period of the prehistoric era knew anything about it. During the era of the Taiwan Emperor, the tomb had appeared as well. The Taiwan Emperor had said that the tomb was nurturing an unimaginable thing. However, during the Taiwan Emperor's era, the thing nurtured in the tomb had not yet matured. Countless years had passed since the Taiwan Emperor's era. The world had undergone earth-shattering changes, and the Great Desolate Era had collapsed. However, the Great Tomb had existed for far too long. The old tortoise didn't know much about it, but he did know that it contained the hope of becoming a saint. The Great Tomb's hope of becoming a saint was not groundless, nor was it just a legend. It was real. That unparalleled figure from ancient times had really buried himself in the 49 Dragon Mountains. The flawless Great Tao was that unparalleled existence's flawless Great Tao charm. Burying one's own body and using the supreme Great Tao to give birth to a new life. Such a method, such a spirit, even in the endless river of time, it was one of a kind. Extreme Tao experts represented the strongest power in the world. They were invincible in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, immortal and indestructible. It was obvious that the supreme figure from ancient times wanted to reach a higher level. He wants to surpass the extreme Tao? The old turtle and Gu Fei both thought of this. It was too shocking. There was an existence that could surpass the extreme Tao and stand above the great Tao. The Tao embryo was incredible. Once the life inside was born, it would be an existence on the same level as the extreme Tao saints. It was too heaven-defying. However, there were many people who had their eyes on the Tao embryo. Even the old turtle was jealous. He didn't mind sacrificing his vitality and using supreme techniques to obtain it. The Tao runes that fell from the Tai Sovereign Seal were destroying the Tao laws that connected the 49 Dragon Mountains to the embryo of Tao. However, the process seemed to be very slow. The Supreme Emperor Seal represented the flawless great Tao that the Supreme Emperor had comprehended, but the Tao embryo had the flawless Tao pattern of that supreme existence from ancient times. This was a contest between 2 flawless great Taos. Endless waves of yuan qi emanated from the old turtle's body. He did not hesitate to draw the endless essence of heaven and earth from his inner world to strengthen himself and activate the Tai Sovereign Seal with all his might. "Protect me!" the old tortoise said to Gu Fei. Then, he sat cross-legged under the Tai Sovereign Seal. A ray of light shot out from the top of his head, and the shadow of an ancestral dragon emerged. Faster Lu 5 updates: this was the primordial spirit of the old tortoise. He was going to risk his life. The primordial spirit of the old turtle rose from the top of his head. The little ancestral dragon seemed to have some kind of connection with the Tai Huang Seal above. Once the primordial spirit of the old turtle appeared, the Tai Huang Seal emitted an even more powerful wave of Tao power. The Grand Sovereign Seal resonated with the old tortoise's primordial spirit. Swoosh! A shadow rushed out of the Tai Huang Seal. An ancient seal floated above the little ancestral dragon. It was the weapon soul of the Tai Huang Seal. The old tortoise's primordial spirit and the weapon soul of the Tai Huang Seal became one. Between the two, there were Tao rhymes intertwined. He was using his primordial spirit to connect with the weapon soul and draw out the ultimate power of the extreme Tao. Gu Fei did not dare to delay. He rushed down from the sky and landed on the cauldron of mountain and river. He then used his divine consciousness to connect with the soul of the cauldron of mountain and river, triggering the cauldron to display the power of the extreme Tao. Hum! The cauldron of mountain and river shook, and the entire land calmed down. The primordial chaos qi could suppress the world in all directions. This was the ancestral qi of heaven and earth, and everything in the world originated from it. At the same time, the purple gold divine sword and the half of the peerless ominous saber were both vibrating. The sword qi that rushed out from the purple gold divine sword reached up to the 9 heavens and down to the 9 hells, connecting the world. The half of the ominous saber was even more terrifying. Its murderous aura surged and turned the area into a terrifying killing field. There seemed to be countless sounds of fighting in the void. No one knew how many creatures this ominous saber had killed. It was definitely the most ominous saber in the world. The 3 great sacred weapons of the extreme Tao all emitted a trace of the power of the extreme Tao. Under the guidance of Gu Fei, the power of the 3 great sacred weapons formed a terrifying domain. This was a sacred domain that imprisoned and suppressed a part of the world. In the void, vague patterns of the Tao interweaved. Unless a saint jumped out, no one could enter this sacred domain. Gu Fei could not completely control the 3 great sacred weapons of the extreme Tao, but the sacred domain that was set up by the power of the sacred weapons was enough to stop a half-saint. In this world where saints were extinct, a half-saint was an invincible existence. If even a half-saint could not break in, it was even more impossible for others to pose a threat to Gu Fei and the old tortoise. But even so, Gu Fei still felt a little uneasy. The figure of the mysterious yellow skeleton kept appearing in his mind. This guy must be spying in the dark. The mysterious yellow skeleton was too powerful and mysterious. No one was willing to face such an opponent. It definitely did not enter this peerless tomb to have fun. The hope of the sacred city had even attracted an existence like the mysterious yellow skeleton. Apart from the mysterious yellow skeleton, there must be other terrifying existences secretly watching. These existences had not made a move yet. They were waiting for an opportunity. Gu Fei knew very well what these guys were waiting for, so he stared at the old tortoise nervously. The old tortoise's primordial spirit and the weapon soul of the Tai Sovereign Seal merged. He actually succeeded in triggering the endless power contained in the Tai Sovereign Seal. The power of the extreme Tao was almost completely awakened. Inside the seal, there seemed to be a cultivator of the extreme path awakening. Endless laws of the way were intertwined, and countless Tao patterns rushed out from the Tai Huang seal. They intertwined into divine laws of the Great Path and slashed at the Tao patterns of the 49 Dragon Mountains. This time, the 49 Tao patterns that stretched out from the Tao fetus vibrated at the same time. They dimmed for a while and showed signs of dissipating. Gu Fei sat cross-legged on the mountain and river cauldron. When he saw this scene, his heart skipped a beat. It seemed that he could really cut off the 49 Tao patterns that stretched out from the Tao fetus. Those who were secretly watching did not have the strength to cut off the 49 Tao patterns, so they did not make a move. In this world, perhaps only the old tortoise had the ability to collect the Tao fetus. Others who did not have the extreme Tao sacred weapon were simply too fast. Even if someone had the extreme Tao sacred weapon, it would be useless if they could not draw out the true power contained in the extreme Tao sacred weapon. The Tai Sovereign Seal was the extreme Tao demon weapon refined by the Supreme Grand Emperor, and the old tortoise was the Grand Emperor's blood relative. In this world, only the old tortoise could make the Tai Sovereign Seal exert almost the full power of the extreme Tao. Bang! The void trembled. Among the 49 Tao patterns, one Tao pattern exploded. The Tao laws contained in the Tao pattern were annihilated and dissipated in the void. It really worked? Chapter 1189. The old tortoise didn't hesitate to sacrifice his vitality to activate the Tai Sovereign Seal. The flawless power of the Great Tao actually cut off one of the runes that extended from the Tao fetus. The runes were cut off and the Tao fetus trembled. The dragon mountain that was connected to the Tao fetus immediately sucked back the worldly essence that was gushing out like a real dragon. The 49 Earth Ancestors' veins were imprisoned in this area, gathering the power of the world to nurture the Tao fetus. The Tao fetus was devouring the power of the ancestors' veins, and in the long run, the ancestors' veins would dry up. The ancestors' veins that already had a soul were naturally unwilling to sacrifice themselves for the Tao fetus. However, the 49 Dragon Mountains were involuntarily supplying a steady stream of worldly essence to the Tao fetus. The mighty power of the great Tao that came from the Tao fetus imprisoned the 49 Dragon Mountains. At this time, one of the runes that bound the Dragon Mountains was destroyed. Although the ancestor's vein did not immediately regain its freedom, it no longer gushed out worldly essence to the Tao fetus. The Earth Ancestor's vein was protecting itself. Gu Fei was sitting on top of the mountain and river cauldron. He couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this scene. This area already had a soul. It was a living area. It was hard to imagine how long these 49 Dragon Mountains had existed. This was a unique area in this world that could nurture the hope of becoming a saint. The supreme existence in the ancient times had a heaven-defying method. He actually wanted to use this method to increase his cultivation to the next level and become an existence above the great Tao. Gu Fei activated the power of the 3 divine weapons of the extreme path to form a saint realm that suppressed the surroundings and sealed the world, including the old tortoise and the Tao fetus. With a powerful enemy peeking at them, Gu Fei had to be careful. For an existence like the mysterious yellow skeleton, once it made a move, it would definitely be earth-shattering. The hope of achieving the great Tao was something that everyone coveted. After one of the 49 runes that extended from the Tao fetus was destroyed, the mighty power of the great Tao that came from the Tao fetus immediately weakened. The aura of the great path emitted by the Tai Huang seal was even more powerful, almost displaying the true supreme divine might of the great path. Countless patterns of the great path interweaved, forming a power that could destroy everything, falling from the sky. Faster Lu 5 updates. The divine light of the Great Path was like the Milky Way hanging upside down. Every beam of divine light was evolving a kind of flawless great path. Every beam of divine light could crush the ages and shock the heavens. Bam! Another pattern that extended from the fetus of the path was destroyed. Divine patterns of the great path vanished in the void. The fetus of the path trembled and emitted waves of uneasiness. It seemed as if it was about to escape into the sky. The true dragon sucked in the water, and another ancestral meridian was released. Inexhaustible natural essence energy was sucked back by the dragon mountain, and the natural energies around the embryo of Tao were obviously weakened. For the old turtle, this was definitely a good thing. However, for the Tao embryo, it was extremely dangerous. If it was taken by someone, it would definitely not have a good ending. At this time, the old tortoise sat cross-legged in the sky with the Tai Huang seal floating above his head. His entire body emitted boundless divine light as a small ancestral dragon and a small seal intertwined above his head. This was the ancestral dragon primordial spirit of the old turtle and the weapon soul of the grand sovereign seal. This was the only way to communicate with the weapon soul of the grand sovereign seal and draw out the flawless power of the great path contained in the seal. This was also the old turtle's trump card. No one below the level of a sage could use an extreme divine weapon to display the supreme power of the great path, but the old turtle was an exception. After that, things seemed to go much more smoothly. The patterns that extended from the embryo of the path were destroyed, and the ancestral meridians were released. The spiritual chi around the embryo of the path immediately decreased. When the old turtle activated the power of the Tai Huang seal and destroyed the 40th pattern of the path, something unexpected happened. The moment the old turtle destroyed the 40th pattern of the path, the embryo of the path took back the patterns that bound the remaining 9 dragon mountains. It then turned into a beam of divine light and soared into the sky, trying to escape. Poof! With a bang, the divine light formed by the Taoist fetus directly penetrated the saint realm that Gu Fei had set up and rushed out. An extremely powerful aura immediately spread out. Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged on the cauldron of mountain and river, immediately swayed and almost fell off the cauldron. A trace of blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. The sacred realm was broken, and he was also affected. What? The old turtle thought that the hope of achieving the great path was already in his hands, but at this moment, this cooked duck was about to fly away. What could he do? Bam! The Tai Huang seal shook, and the divine power of the great path burst out. Rays of divine light of the great path shot up into the sky like rivers, entangling the huge embryo of the path. It seemed that, at this moment, a pitch-black hand appeared in the void with boundless demonic aura, slapping towards Old Tortoise and the Tai Sovereign Seal. Boom! The demonic hand covered the sky, and the whole world darkened. The terrifying demonic power shattered the void and obliterated a corner of the world. The unimaginably powerful demonic power impacted the Tai Huang seal and made it tremble. Roar! The old turtle roared. Those who were watching in the dark had begun to attack, but what was there to be afraid of? His long hair danced wildly, and his eyes were as bright as stars. Swoosh! As the old turtle waved his hand, a divine light condensed from the power of the great path immediately rushed out and strangled the demonic hand. At this time, he used his primordial spirit to connect with the soul of the Tai Huang seal, and he could borrow the power of the great path from the Tai Huang seal to strengthen himself. However, on the demonic hand that covered the sky, there were also patterns of the great path. Rays of black light intertwined to form divine patterns that contained the great path and wandered on the demonic hand. What kind of demon is this? Gu Fei was extremely shocked. He thought that the one who would attack was the Xian Huang skeleton, but he did not expect it to be a terrifying demon. This great devil was the demonic path powerhouse that fought against the mysterious yellow skeleton before the extreme Tao Grand Array awakened. This demonic path powerhouse's cultivation was truly formidable. He was actually able to fight against the mysterious yellow skeleton without falling into a disadvantageous position. Such an existence had definitely surpassed the realm of mighty figures and could easily kill emperors. In the face of such an opponent, the old turtle did not dare to be careless. Although the other party had not shown up yet, he could already feel how powerful the other party was. The divine light of the great path that the old turtle shot out collided with the demonic hand. Then, the divine light of the great path and the demonic hand disappeared in the void at the same time. The power of the two great paths seemed to cancel each other out. Swoosh! At this time, the void beside the fetus suddenly shattered, and a figure with demonic aura rushed out. This person stretched out his hand and wanted to take the fetus. A diversion? Seeing this, Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. This person's methods were very clever, and they were not easy to deal with. Every step of these people was calculated very accurately. "You're courting death!" The old turtle was furious. His hair stood up, an endless divine light erupted from his body. Mysterious patterns of the great path circled around him. He directly soared into the sky like a god of war and rushed toward the demon. The Tai Huang seal emitted a mighty divine power that could shock the heavens. It shattered the void and launched an earth-shattering blow at the demon. The entire void was shattered on the spot. It was as if a saint was attacking. The terrifying divine power of the great path wreaked havoc in the sky and earth, piercing through the world. Humph! The demonic figure shrouded in demonic aura sneered and disappeared from where he was, dodging the old turtle's angry blow. The next moment, the demon's figure appeared thousands of feet away. This devil's movement speed was so fast that even Gu Fei was startled by it. The Tai Huang seal is indeed worthy of its reputation, but how many more times can you use this demonic weapon? The demonic aura filled the air, and a demonic figure loomed in the demonic aura. The figure spoke coldly. "It's enough to kill you." Old Tortoise's expression was extremely solemn. Although he said that, he knew his own condition. He had used the Tai Sovereign's seal continuously, and his primordial qi was almost depleted. If it were not for the inner world providing him with an endless supply of spiritual qi, his vitality would have been sucked dry by the Tai Huang seal. He would have died before the demon could do anything. "You're already an arrow at the end of its flight. Stop bluffing." A pair of blood-red eyes looked out from the demonic aura. The mysterious demon seemed to want to see through the old turtle. He had calculated very accurately. At this time, the great path fetus had been entangled by the divine light of the great path that rushed out from the Tai Huang seal. It was struggling, and a great power of the great path spread out from the great path fetus. The entire world was shaking, and the great tomb seemed to be on the verge of collapse. It was as if the end of the world had come. "Give me the great path fetus and get out of here." The mysterious demon did not want to say much. He had been watching from the side for a long time, but he did not make a move. At this time, it was not the demon's turn to make a move. If he let the great path fetus fly away, it would be very difficult to find it again. "No one has ever dared to be presumptuous in front of me." The old turtle stared at the demonic figure in front of him and said coldly. His fighting spirit was like a rainbow, and the ancestral dragon primordial spirit and the Tai Huang seal intertwined above his head. The old turtle drew the power of the Tai Huang seal to his body, but even so, he was really at the point of exhaustion. Just as the old turtle and the mysterious demon were confronting each other, a few figures appeared in the void nearby. These people all had the majestic aura of the Saint Plane. Needless to say, these people all had divine implements. Without the protection of divine implements, even a semi-saint would not be able to come here. These were three terrifying experts who could compete with the mysterious demon, and each of them had a powerful aura that could shock the world. Finally, a yellow figure walked over from afar. The yellow qi in the sky and the earth surged with a powerful pressure, causing the expressions of everyone present to change. The yellow skeleton had finally appeared. Chapter 1190. The waters of the heavenly realm are very deep, the old tortoise muttered to himself. His gaze swept across the 5 supreme experts. None of them were weak. Each of them had Tao rhymes circulating around their bodies. Even if they were not saints, they were at least half-saints. Moreover, they should have saint tools on them. Otherwise, they would not have been able to withstand the divine aura of the extreme Tao and come here. It seemed like, without any unnecessary words, the three supreme experts and the great demon immediately made their moves. The four supreme experts only had one goal: the Tao embryo that was frozen by the Supreme Emperor seal. This was the hope of becoming a saint. Everyone was envious of it. Great Sky Demon Hand! The mysterious Great Demon made his move. Demonic chi spread for 30,000 miles. The entire world was shrouded in demonic chi. A pitch-black hand reached out from the boundless demonic chi. The hand manifested the profound meaning of the demon path and triggered a trace of Tao power. It displayed a terrifying might, wanting to take away the Tao embryo that was frozen in the sky. Humph! An old Taoist snorted coldly. A divine light rushed out from the top of his head. This divine light looked like the Milky Way hanging upside down, rushing towards the demon hand in the sky. Rumble! The world shook as if there was a real Milky Way rushing up to the sky. An extremely terrifying fluctuation of the power of the celestial Tao was released. Everywhere it passed, the void was annihilated. Half-saint. A trace of the aura of a saint spread out. Gu Fei could not help but be shocked. This old Taoist was actually a half-saint. In this day and age where saints were extinct, a half-saint was an invincible existence. The demon path had been the land of all living beings since ancient times. No one was willing to see the hope of becoming a saint being taken away by a great demon. If this demon took away the hope of becoming a saint, an invincible demon saint would appear in the world. Boom! The divine light that rushed out from the top of the old Taoist's head collided with the great sky demon hand. The power of the celestial Tao and the power of the demon path clashed. The entire world seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. The world was as fragile as a thin layer of paper. It was directly penetrated. A terrifying power came down from the sky. Even the old tortoise had to retreat. The layer of saint realm that Gu Fei had created with the three supreme saint tools collapsed immediately. Hum! The purple gold divine sword, half of the peerless ominous saber, and the mountain and river cauldron beneath Gu Fei vibrated at the same time. The purple gold divine sword exploded with a brilliant sword light, and the sword she shot up to the 9 heavens. The peerless ominous saber exuded a boundless fiendish aura. A ferocious dragon shadow loomed over the peerless ominous saber, displaying a great ferocious might. The great heavenly demon hand dissipated in the void, and the divine light that rushed out from the top of the old Taoist's head also dissipated. In this attack, either of them could suppress the other. It seemed to be a draw. Swoosh! At the same time, a silhouette flashed. The mysterious yellow skeleton took a step forward and appeared in front of the Tao fetus. An endless amount of mysterious yellow chi surged out from its body. It opened up a world, and wanted to take the Tao fetus inside. It's not that cheap! The old turtle roared and opened his inner world. He stood in the inner world and shot beams of divine light that could pierce through heaven and earth at the yellow skeleton. This was an attack that drew upon the power of the inner world. However, the mysterious yellow skeleton seemed to be unable to see the old turtle's attack at all. A world formed by the mysterious yellow chi revolved around its body. All the destructive divine light that pierced through it could not get close to the mysterious yellow skeleton's body. The heaven and earth changed around its body, and the divine light rushed in front of it, then dissipated in the void. Invulnerable to all techniques. Everyone who saw this scene was taken aback. This mysterious yellow skeleton was truly terrifying. It stood in an invincible position, and all the attacks were useless against it. The Tao fetus shook, and the aura of the Great Path surged. The marks of the Great Path flickered. It was actually shaken by the power of the mysterious yellow skeleton's inner world, and it slowly moved toward the mysterious yellow skeleton's inner world. Bam! The Tai Huang seal that was holding the Tao fetus in place shook violently. An extremely powerful force spread out from the Tai Huang seal, and the mysterious yellow skeleton was immediately sent flying. The mysterious yellow skeleton's inner world around its body almost collapsed. Lu 5's renewal speed invulnerable to all techniques was useless in front of the divine weapon of the extreme path. Stinking brat, take back the divine weapon! The old tortoise transmitted his voice to Gu Fei. These Beasterisk stars were too despicable, and they actually wanted to take advantage of a ready-made one. He wanted Gu Fei to take back the divine weapon and let the extreme great matrix operate again. All right. Gu Fei nodded. Only the mountain and river cauldron was not enough to protect him. The opponents were half-saints, and they also had divine weapons. Although they were not divine weapons of the extreme path, they were enough to pose a great threat to him. He sat cross-legged on the mountain and river cauldron and released his divine consciousness, connecting with the purple gold divine sword and the half of the peerless ominous saber. Buzz! The purple gold divine sword and the peerless ominous saber vibrated at the same time, and the vast sword chi and saber chi suddenly erupted. Then, the two divine weapons of the extreme path that were suppressing the matrix I soared into the sky and flew back toward Gu Fei. Divine weapons of the extreme path? Everyone felt a trace of divine might of the extreme path. This trace of divine might of the extreme path made their hearts palpitate. Some people directly grabbed the purple gold divine sword and the half of the ominous saber. Only divine weapons of the extreme path could emit divine might of the extreme path. Divine weapons of the extreme path, like the hope of becoming a saint, were the most precious things in the world. The 5 half-saints knew their stuff. As long as they had divine weapons of the extreme path, they could go anywhere in the world. You guys are a little too much. Seeing this, the old tortoise could not help but be furious. These people were really despicable. He directly attacked. The Tai Huang seals shook, and rays of the divine light of the great path fell, strangling those half-saints. The expressions of those half-saints changed, and they immediately dodged far away. The battle of the semi-sage experts was unavoidable. The 6 super-experts were moving rapidly in the sky. They were constantly attacking, and the void was collapsing and collapsing. This was a half-saint. Moving mountains and draining seas was just a small matter for half-saints. With Old Tortoise's help, Gu Fei successfully retrieved the purple gold divine sword and half of the peerless ominous saber. Then, he used the weapon refinement technique to refine the purple gold divine sword and half of the peerless ominous saber into his body. Clanging sounds came from Gu Fei's body, as if there were thousands of swords and sabers ringing in his body. Sword chi and saber chi clashed as he activated the power of the violet gold divine sword and the peerless saber. Borrowing the power of the divine weapons, Gu Fei felt that his body had endless power. It was as if he could crush the whole world with a raise of his hand or a kick. Humph! So what if you are a half-saint? Gu Fei simply put the mountain and river cauldron into his body. He activated the power of the mountain and river cauldron, and a shadow of a huge cauldron appeared on Gu Fei's body. As for the power of the violet gold divine sword and the peerless ominous blade, it was drawn to his right hand and left hand. The illusory image of the violet gold divine sword appeared on his arm, while a pitch-black blade appeared on his left arm. The mountain and river cauldron protected him, the purple gold divine sword and the ominous saber attacked him. This was Gu Fei's strongest combat state. Only someone like him, who had an extremely strong body, would dare to refine the divine weapons into his body. If it was an ordinary martial emperor, he would probably have died from his body exploding. Swoosh! Gu Fei rushed into the sky and joined the battle. He held a purple gold divine sword in his right hand and a pitch-black saber in his left. He rushed towards the great demon in the demon chi. The purple sword light cut through the void, shook off the endless demon chi, and penetrated the terrifying figure in the demon chi. The sword light tore the void apart. A trace of the divine sword of the extreme path spread out from the sword in Gu Fei's hand. This was not the real purple gold divine sword, but a sword condensed from the power of the purple gold divine sword. Although it was not the real divine sword of the extreme path, the power it displayed made everyone's expression change. Everyone was secretly shocked. What kind of cultivation method was this? It could actually refine the divine weapon into the body and use the power of the divine weapon to kill the enemy. This was a trump card that Gu Fei would never use unless he had no other choice. The weapon refinement body could draw the power of the divine weapon of the extreme path to his body. This was a supreme battle technique. Boom! A black sun the size of a millstone rose from the head of the demonic shadow. A powerful demonic power spread out from the black sun. The void could not withstand this power, and terrifying cracks appeared in the space. Black Sun Demon Venerable? Someone exclaimed. Some people recognized the origin of this demon, and were extremely shocked. The Black Sun Demon Venerable was extremely powerful and was an invincible demon venerable in the 100,000 Devil Mountains. As soon as the Black Sun appeared, the entire space collapsed. The vast demonic power from the Black Sun sent Gu Fei flying. Then, a burly figure walked out of the demonic aura. With just a single step, he caught up to Gu Fei, who had been sent flying. Even though he had drawn the power of the divine weapon of the extreme path, he was still shaken away. This made Gu Fei extremely shocked. A great demon of the half-saint realm was really terrifying. Buzz! The shadow of the cauldron of mountain and river appeared on Gu Fei's body, blocking all the surging demonic power. At the same time, Gu Fei used the 8 desolation steps and instantly retreated 100 miles away, distancing himself from the great demon. This. The Black Sun Demon Lord stopped in his tracks and stared at Gu Fei. His eyes were filled with a black aura and were extremely horrifying. They were like 2 bottomless demon holes that had the power to suck one's soul away. The divine weapon of the extreme path, one that has not appeared for thousands of years. The Black Sun Demon Venerable murmured to himself. He could not believe that he could see 3 divine weapons of the extreme path on a single person. This was too unbelievable. One should know that the divine weapon of the extreme path was a weapon refined by the great saints of the extreme path. The great saints of the extreme path had disappeared, but their weapons were indestructible and existed forever. It was not that the divine weapon of the extreme path had never appeared in the world before. However, the divine weapon of the extreme path had a soul and could only be obtained by someone with great luck. This person's luck was too heaven-defying. He actually obtained 3 divine weapons of the extreme path. Even the Black Sun Demon Venerable was shocked when he sensed the aura of the divine weapon of the extreme path on Gu Fei. The others were also attracted by Gu Fei. Other than the old tortoise, the others were stunned. Chapter 1191. The battle was unavoidable. Everyone wanted to obtain the Tao embryo. It was the hope of becoming a sage. It contained the perfect great Tao and could help one become a sage. The world had changed. Sages were extinct. No one could become a sage in such an environment. These super antiques who had been stuck in the half-sage realm for countless years were determined to obtain the Tao embryo. Although Gu Fei had 3 sacred weapons of the extreme great path, everyone's attention was still focused on the embryo in the sky that was giving off an aura of the great path. Swoosh! Black Sun Overlord soared into the sky. He did not want to be entangled with Gu Fei. He rushed towards the Tao embryo in the sky. Monstrous demonic chi enveloped the entire void. As for the mystic yellow skeleton that was sent flying by the Tai Sovereign Seal, it rushed over and intercepted the Black Sun Demon Venerable. It displayed its unparalleled skills and fought with the Black Sun Demon Venerable. Rumble! At this time, the 49 Dragon Mountains began to tremble. Boundless Earth Dragon Chi was released. Phantoms of dragons began to condense in the sky above the 49 Dragon Mountains. An extremely terrifying energy wave spread out. The extreme formation that was temporarily suppressed by the 3 sacred weapons began to operate again. The power of heaven and earth began to form. The aura of the extreme path was vast. Countless extreme path Tao patterns appeared on the ground. They interweaved into layers of formation patterns. They emitted boundless divine light as if they were drawing upon the power of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It seemed that everyone's expression immediately changed. If the extreme Tao Great Formation was activated, even if they had saint artifacts to protect themselves, they would still die. Unless they had the extreme Tao sacred weapon to protect themselves, they would be able to use their flawless Tao energy to fight against the flawless Tao energy. The Tai Sovereign Seal trembled. Rays of great Tao light rushed out and entangled the Tao embryo. At this time, the other super experts also made their moves. The old Taoist directly created the void of heaven and earth. He wanted to suck the Tao embryo in. The other two half-sages also used their sacred weapons. A divine sword turned into a golden dragon that was 10,000 feet long. It rushed towards the Tao embryo with a terrifying holy aura. A divine mirror that looked like a bright moon appeared between the heavens and the earth. Its clear light shone through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and the endless demonic energy dissipated under the mirror's light. Gu Fei also soared up into the sky and dashed towards the embryo of Tao. This was a holy embryo born from the great Tao of heaven and earth, and only those who were fated could get it. Gu Fei also wanted to fight for it. Clang! A myriad of violet gold sword lights shot out from his right hand while numerous peerless and domineering saber chi charged out from his left hand. It was like a myriad of sabers and swords were slashing down, and it was extremely powerful. The void was instantly sliced into thousands of pieces by the power of the sword and saber. Wherever the sword light and saber chi passed, countless fine lines were left in the void. Gu Fei activated the power of the purple gold divine sword and the peerless ominous saber. His battle prowess was unparalleled, and everyone's expression changed. The purple gold sword light pierced through the void created by the old Taoist, and rushed towards him. There was nothing that could stop it. At the same time, the domineering saber chi that rushed out from Gu Fei's left hand rushed towards the big demon that was hiding in the demonic energy. Gu Fei's battle intent soared to the sky as he attacked 2 half-saints at the same time. He was just like the reincarnation of an ancient god of war, and he was insanely brave. All the super experts took out their holy weapons, and the heavens and earth collapsed. The old Taoist was forced back by Gu Fei's purple gold sword light. No one dared to go against the sharpness of the purple gold divine sword. Even if it was just a wisp of the holy aura, a half-saint would be killed. The peerless saber chi broke through the layers of demonic energy, and the edge of the saber pointed towards the Black Sun Demon Lord who was in the midst of the demonic energy. The Black Sun above the Black Sun Demon Lord's head vibrated continuously, and a towering demonic power was released to block the attack. However, the peerless saber chi was unstoppable, and it was hard to resist. The Black Sun Demon Lord had no choice but to retreat. Even the mysterious yellow skeleton that was fighting with the Black Sun Demon Lord retreated immediately. As soon as Gu Fei made a move, he had forced back 3 super experts. His battle strength was so powerful that it shocked everyone. However, everyone was clear that this was not Gu Fei's own strength, but the power of the Extreme Path sacred weapon that he used to kill the enemy. This killing technique was too heaven-defying. The merging of the weapon into his body increased Gu Fei's battle strength to a level where he could go against a half-saint. Even the old tortoise was shocked. This killing technique was too terrifying. If Gu Fei could draw out the full power of the Extreme Path sacred weapon, wouldn't he be like a descending Extreme Path saint, and could display the battle strength of a saint? While Gu Fei forced the 3 super experts to retreat, the old tortoise quickly activated the Tai Sovereign Seal to block the Sky Dragon's celestial sword and the moonlike divine mirror. Yao Tiandu, do you want to be my enemy? The old tortoise stared at the person behind the Sky Dragon's celestial sword and said in a deep voice. This person was a half-saint of the demon race. In this world where saints were extinct, a half-saint of the demon race was a supreme great demon. However, after the return of the old tortoise, Yao Tiandu's position was threatened. The return of the Grand Emperor was undoubtedly an earth-shattering event for the demon race. Some of the great demons that had gone into seclusion were alarmed. Even the former subordinates of the Grand Emperor, who were said to have fallen, jumped out. The old subordinates of the Grand Emperor were the ancestors of the demon race and had a supreme status. Even Yao Tiandu had to be respectful to them, and did not dare to slight them. The old tortoise had returned and gained the support of the old subordinates of the Grand Emperor. He should be the leader of the demon race, respected by all the demons in the world. Yao Tiandu's resentment was not ordinary, and he disliked the old tortoise very much. However, the old tortoise's status was too noble, and no one was willing to challenge the old tortoise's position. Yao Tiandu could only swallow his anger. However, now that the hope of becoming a saint was right in front of him, how could he swallow his anger? As long as he had the hope of becoming a saint and become a great saint of the demon race, the old subordinates of the Grand Emperor would have to step aside. Humph! I've tolerated you for a long time. Yao Tiandu's expression was very ugly. After the Grand Emperor returned to the demon race, he had been suppressing him. This made him, a half-saint of the demon race, very sullen. Buzz! The sky dragon's celestial sword vibrated and emitted sword waves that looked like golden dragons. It was like a real dragon leaping above the ninth heaven and attacking the old tortoise. This was a flawless sacred weapon of the demon race. Although it was not an extreme sacred weapon, it was not comparable to ordinary sacred weapons. This was because it was a sacred weapon refined by an advanced demon saint of the demon race. I knew you were disloyal, humph! The old tortoise sneered. He knew Yao Tiandu's every move like the back of his hand. Only by knowing oneself and the enemy could one emerge victorious. The old tortoise was a very careful person. The old tortoise did not show any mercy. An ancestral dragon's shadow rushed out from between his eyebrows and turned into a killing light, piercing towards Yao Tiandu. This was the Grand Emperor's soul-severing technique, which specialized in cutting the opponent's spiritual soul. Chapter 1192. The Tai Huang soul-severing technique was a killing technique created by the Tai Huang that specialized in severing the spiritual soul. The spiritual soul was the mark of a cultivator's life. Once the spiritual soul was severed, there would only be one outcome: the soul would be destroyed. The cultivator's physical body would not be damaged by the Tai Huang soul-severing technique, but the spiritual soul would be gone, leaving only a body. Swoosh! The soul-severing divine light was extremely fast. The moment it rushed out from the old turtle's brow, it had already shot in front of Yao Tiandu, causing his heart to tremble. This kind of attack was too terrifying. If he was not careful, his spiritual soul would be severed and he would become a walking corpse. Without any hesitation, Yao Tiandu flew backward. At the same time, his eyes lit up, and then there were down marks intertwining in his eyes. Swoosh! Two divine lights formed by the intertwining Dao marks rushed out of Yao Tiandu's eyes. Two faint and illusory blade shadows that were only a foot long appeared in front of Yao Tiandu. These two blade shadows silently slashed forward with the great Dao's charm flowing. This was a terrifying killing technique, and it was also a great technique created by a supreme saint-level existence. The soul-severing killing light formed by the Tai Huang soul-severing technique collided with the two blade shadows. This was a confrontation between two saint-level great techniques. The Dao marks intertwined and vanished. The void was silently annihilated. Lu 5 renewal faster. Yao Tiandu's eyes emitted a strange power. The great Dao's charm flowed and flashed with evil demonic light, intertwining with the divine patterns of the great Dao. The faint and illusory blade shadows actually blocked the old turtle's Tai Huang soul-severing technique. The two powers of the great Dao cancelled each other out, and the soul-severing killing light and the two blade shadows dissipated at the same time. This is... The old turtle was extremely shocked. He could see the origin of this saint-level great technique that Yao Tiandu used. This was a supreme killing technique that was not inferior to the Tai Huang soul-severing technique. The Tai Huang soul-severing technique is only SOSO. Yao Tiandu rushed back from afar, and a golden dragon shadow circled around him. This was a dragon-shaped sword light formed by the heavenly dragon sword. The dragon-shaped sword light gave off a terrifying saint-tier might. Sword chi rushed into the sky. This was sword chi formed from boundless dragon chi. It was golden dragon sword chi. I didn't expect you to obtain the heavenly Yao's legacy, Old Tortoise said coldly. In the primordial era, two supreme existences appeared in the demon race. One was the Grand Emperor, the first true dragon born from the 9 heavens 10 earths, the ancestor of all dragons. On the other hand, another demon spirit was born in the sun star in the sky. That demon spirit was the heavenly demon, a supreme demon saint that could compete with the Grand Emperor. Humph! My Sky Yao lineage is the true ruler of the Yao race. It looks like Lu 5. Yao Tiandu did not hide his killing intent towards Old Tortoise at all. He wanted to fight to the death with Old Tortoise and shed all pretense of cordiality. Since he had already made his move, there was no turning back. As long as he could kill this so-called Grand Emperor and seize the embryo of Tao, he would still be the demon lord who was respected by all the demons in the world. You want to be the leader of the demon clan? Did a donkey kick you in the head? Old Tortoise said disdainfully. Since ancient times, the only demon lord who was respected by all the demons in the world was the Grand Emperor. Although Heavenly Yao was the other demon lord of the demon clan, Heavenly Yao was like a wild crane that lived alone and did not have much power. But the Grand Emperor was different. He unified the demon clan and became the supreme demon lord. During the Grand Emperor's era, the humans controlled the land while the demons controlled the sky. The demon clan was extremely powerful. If the humans hadn't produced a few supreme saints, the entire world would have been taken over by the demon clan. Cut the crap. I'll still be the demon lord after killing you. Yao Tiandu was determined to kill Old Tortoise. If he didn't, there would be no place for him in the world. No one knew how strong the Grand Emperor's old subordinates were. They were the most terrifying existences in the demon clan, and even Yao Tiandu was wary of them. Old Tortoise had the support of the Grand Emperor's old subordinates, so it was only a matter of time before he became the demon lord. Swoosh! 2 beams of divine light shot out from Yao Tiandu's eyes again. 2 saber shadows appeared in the void and silently slashed at Old Tortoise. There were no fluctuations on the 2 saber shadows. There was only a trace of Tao rhymes circulating around them. They silently slashed through the void, leaving a spatial crack wherever they passed. Although the 2 saber shadows didn't emit any earth-shattering power, they were able to slash through the void, displaying a terrifying power that made one's heart palpitate. Divine light intertwined with Tao marks rushed out from Old Tortoise's glabella and went up against the 2 saber shadows. His expression was extremely solemn. His opponent's killing technique was not inferior to his, so he didn't dare to be careless. While Old Tortoise and Yao Tiandu were fighting, on the other side, Gu Fei was fighting against the 4 super experts. He punched the Black Sun Demon Venerable, stepped on the Xianhuang skeleton, and slashed the old Taoist with his saber. He was extremely fierce. The other black-bearded Taoist who used the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror was attacking the Black Sun Demon Venerable. A black sun and a divine moon kept colliding in the sky, causing the void to collapse. The black-bearded Taoist was a half-sage of the Tai Ching's sacred realm. This time, he entered the peerless tomb with a sect-guarding treasure of the Tai Ching's sacred realm. The Tai Ching godly virtual mirror was a sacred weapon, but it was not an extreme sacred weapon like the heavenly dragon's sword. However, the power of the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror was enough to destroy a part of the world. The Black Sun Demon Venerable was attacked from both sides and had no choice but to retreat. Then, Gu Fei rushed forward and fiercely clashed with the clear godly virtual mirror a few times, causing the godly virtual mirror, which was like a moon, to tremble continuously. The Tai Ching half-sage was shocked. This guy was too abnormal. He could fight against a sacred weapon with his bare hands. He could fight against a sacred weapon with just his fists. This was a saint-level chaotic battle. After Gu Fei and the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror exchanged a few blows, he turned around and charged into the void of heaven and earth that the old Taoist had conjured. He charged toward the old Taoist. You really don't know your place. How dare you barge into my world? The old Taoist was surprised and happy when he saw Gu Fei rushing in. This was the void of heaven and earth that the old Taoist had conjured using a supreme technique. In this void of heaven and earth, he was an omnipotent supreme god. But soon, the old Taoist's expression changed. Rumble! The void created by the old Taoist was shaking violently. Gu Fei used the flawless 5 elements fist. Every punch almost shattered the void created by the old Taoist. He's actually this powerful? The old Taoist was really shocked by Gu Fei this time. He waved his hands in front of him, and there seemed to be worlds appearing between his hands. Chapter 1193. The old Taoist displayed his supreme technique, conjuring the 3,000 void worlds to trap Gu Fei within. Such a technique was truly shocking. Those who were trapped would be lost within the 3,000 void worlds, never to be able to escape. Phenomenon of the immortal Tao? Gu Fei's heart skipped a beat. He was surrounded by an endless void with no end in sight. He was like a speck of dust within. Everywhere he looked was the same. 3,000 void worlds, endless void. Don't even think of escaping. The old Taoist's voice resounded in the void. Such a technique did not seem to have any killing power, but it was capable of trapping someone within. Below, left, and right were all boundless emptiness. As far as the eye could see, everything was the same color. If one were to be trapped in such a place for countless years, even a saint would go crazy. Humph! Do you really think you can trap me like this? Gu Fei sneered. He opened his martial path heavenly eye and scanned his surroundings. The martial path heavenly eye could see through the origin of the world, pointing straight at the essence of falsehood. Through the martial path heavenly eye, the surrounding space turned transparent. Following that, strands of the law of the void as thin as hair appeared before Gu Fei's eyes. This was a type of Tao law that constructed this void. This was the phenomenon of the immortal Tao cultivated by a half-sage. It could trigger Tao laws to construct a void. 1. The violet gold divine sword materialized in Gu Fei's right hand, emitting a towering violet gold sword chi. Even before the sword slashed out, the sword chi had already torn apart the void. Watch how I slash through the void! Gu Fei roared. His blood and chi surged as yin and yang energy surged wildly towards the violet gold divine sword in his hand. The violet gold divine sword's sword light instantly shone 10 times brighter than before. Terrifying sword chi spread out in all directions, causing the entire void to tremble. Roar! Gu Fei's hair danced wildly in the wind as he let out an enraged roar. He raised his sword with both hands and slashed forward. A purple golden sword ray burst out from his hand like a purple golden dragon, soaring thousands of zhang into the sky. A strand of extreme godly might filled the entire space as Gu Fei slashed out with his sword with all his might. The 10,000 zhang long sword light tore through the space and shattered the world. It was as though the entire world had been cleaved into two by the sword. The boundless Tao laws collapsed under the sword light, and a spatial rift that was tens of thousands of feet long appeared in the void, causing the 3,000 worlds to tremble. What? The old Taoist was shocked. He stared blankly at Gu Fei, who was in the 3,000 worlds. He saw that one of the worlds was actually broken by Gu Fei's sword. This was something that had never happened before. Ever since the old Taoist cultivated this immortal Tao anomaly, as long as someone was trapped in the trichiliocosm, they would never be able to escape. They would be trapped inside until they died. No one dared to be trapped by the old Taoist's trichiliocosm. Even those who were also half-saints feared the old Taoist, and didn't dare to provoke him. Gu Fei slashed open the void with his sword and rushed out. However, he only entered another world. The 3,000 worlds rotated, like 3,000 cycles of reincarnation, endless and endless. The world that was destroyed by Gu Fei was destroyed, but it condensed in the outermost layer. Unless the 3,000 worlds were destroyed at the same time, Gu Fei would never be able to break out of the 3,000 worlds. Could it be that there are really 3,000 small worlds that trapped me? After Gu Fei rushed out of the void, he saw that there was no sky nor earth, there was only the darkness below. It was exactly the same as before, there was no sky nor earth, there was only him in the entire void. Swoosh! Without any hesitation, Gu Fei slashed out again, cutting open the void, breaking open the heaven and earth. He rushed out again, but after rushing through the cracks in the void, Gu Fei saw that there was still nothing around him. Gu Fei slashed more than 10 times, rushing through more than 10 cracks in the void, but nothing changed in front of him. It was as if he was really trapped in the layers of void. Such a technique! Gu Fei had no choice but to stop. This immortal Tao technique was too terrifying. It interweaved the Tao laws to create layers of void, breaking one world and then another. It seemed endless. This is forcing me to be ruthless. Gu Fei gritted his teeth and was about to use his trump card to completely destroy the 3,000 worlds. However, at this time, the void that Gu Fei was in suddenly shook violently. What's going on? Gu Fei was shocked. An aura powerful enough to make the world tremble came down from above. A ray of divine light, like a divine rainbow, broke through the void and shrouded Gu Fei. The aura of the Grand Sovereign Seal. The purple divine light was dazzling, containing the aura of the great Tao. Within the divine light, Tao laws interweaved, like a divine bridge descending from the sky to receive Gu Fei. Upon seeing this, Gu Fei did not hesitate. He directly soared into the sky and rushed into the purple divine light, breaking out of the void that was devoid of heaven and earth. At this moment, the battle outside had already reached its climax. The old tortoise unleashed a supreme sacred art and fought against Yao Tiandu, the old Taoist, the grand pure half-sage, the black sun demon Venerable, and the yellow skeleton. Buzz! The void trembled. A divine mirror that resembled a bright moon shone through the void and collided with a black sun. The void was constantly destroyed by the two extremely powerful forces. The Tai Ching half-saint and the black sun demon sovereign fought, but they soon separated, because Yao Tiandu and the old Taoist had attacked again. The black sun demon sovereign fought against Yao Tiandu, while the Tai Ching half-saint fought against the old Taoist. On the other hand, the old turtle and the Xian Huang skeleton were competing with the divine techniques of the Tao laws. The two super-powerful experts kept casting all kinds of deadly techniques to attack each other. The old turtle's supreme sovereign seal stopped the Tao embryo that was trying to escape. With the grand sovereign seal in hand, the old tortoise had the upper hand. While fighting against the yellow skeleton, he also used the grand sovereign seal to break through the void and rescue Gu Fei, who was trapped in the 3,000 worlds of the void with a ray of divine light. Boom! After breaking free, Gu Fei's qi and blood surged all over his body. Streams of qi and blood rushed out of the top of his head like dragons. The qi and blood of the Emperor martial body enveloped the entire world. Without saying anything else, Gu Fei directly attacked the yellow skeleton. Whoosh! A golden divine pagoda rushed out of the yellow skeleton's skull and rapidly enlarged. It emitted a monstrous qi of heaven and earth, suppressing Gu Fei. A strand of heaven and earth qi of heaven and earth could crush a mountain range. It was a kind of essence qi derived from the primordial chaos qi. The heaven and earth qi of heaven and earth created the world and then evolved into all things in the world. The qi of heaven and earth was also a kind of ancestral qi of the world. Golden divine pagoda of heaven and earth? Gu Fei was shocked when he felt a trace of the aura of the extreme Tao. With a thought, an ancient cauldron appeared around Gu Fei and protected him. Chapter 1194. The mysterious yellow skeleton transformed into a mysterious yellow pagoda and pressed down on Gu Fei. This wasn't the real mysterious yellow pagoda, but it had intertwining Tao patterns on it. It emitted an aura of the extreme great path. Bang! The mysterious yellow pagoda pressed down, and the void below crumbled and turned into primal chaos. The aura of destruction spread out in all directions. Gu Fei sensed the danger. A mountain-like pressure pressed down, and his body sank. He was almost pressed down from the sky. Buzz! A loud sound came out from Gu Fei's body. An ancient cauldron emerged from his body. The chaotic primordial qi lingered on it, and it emitted a terrifying aura that could shake the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The mysterious yellow pagoda that was pressing down from the sky was immediately stopped above Gu Fei's head by the power of the cauldron. It couldn't descend even half an inch. The mountain and river cauldron. The mysterious yellow skeleton skull transmitted a trace of divine sense. Then, its eye sockets burst out with 2 divine lights that were as dazzling as heavenly swords. This mysterious yellow skeleton seemed to know the origin of the mountain and river cauldron. What emerged from Gu Fei's body was only the phantom of the mountain and river cauldron. The real mountain and river cauldron hadn't manifested yet. Even so, the aura of that illusory cauldron was enough to make the hearts of the common people palpitate. A trace of the extreme Great Path's aura circulated on Gu Fei's body. The power of the mountain and river cauldron was drawn out by him. It displayed a divine might that could suppress the world in all directions, and it stopped the mysterious yellow pagoda in the sky. Bang! The phantom of the mountain and river cauldron shook a little. Then, the mysterious yellow pagoda that was stopped immediately exploded and disappeared in the void. The mysterious yellow skeleton suffered a great impact. The mysterious yellow chi on its body was almost scattered. It was sent flying thousands of feet away. It didn't dare to confront the power of the mountain and river cauldron. In the end, it was a mysterious yellow pagoda that was created from a great technique. It was not a true divine weapon of the extreme path. The mysterious yellow pagoda of heaven and earth could not truly contend against the cauldron of mountain and river. The yellow skeleton was forced back, and the old tortoise took the opportunity to soar into the sky and land on top of the Grand Sovereign Seal. It used all of its power to control the Grand Sovereign Seal to retrieve the Tao embryo that was bound. When everyone saw this, they immediately stopped fighting and rushed over to attack the old tortoise. Buzz! The great purity godly virtual mirror vibrated, and a dazzling divine light rushed out from it like a Milky Way, rushing toward the old tortoise. Within the divine light there were Tao patterns interweaving. The Tai Ching semi-sage had released a trace of the power of the great Tao of the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror. Although it was not a flawless great Tao, it was enough to destroy a part of the world. That was equivalent to an attack from the Grand Pure One. The Great Purity Godly Virtual Mirror was a divine artifact refined by the Great Purity Saint. It could pierce through the 3,000 worlds and illuminate the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It possessed great divine might. Damn it! The old tortoise almost went berserk. These guys were too abominable. The attack of a divine artifact was earth-shattering, and the old tortoise could not keep calm. He attracted the interweaving Tao patterns to form the divine light of the great Tao and rushed toward the great purity godly virtual mirror. The two divine lights collided in an instant, and there was a muffled sound. Streams of light shot out in all directions like divine rainbows. Each stream of light was formed by the collapsed Tao patterns, and it was the power of the great Tao. The void was directly pierced, and a pitch-black spatial hole appeared in the void. All the people who rushed toward the old tortoise were shocked and quickly dodged. The power of the great Tao could hurt a saint, let alone a semi-sage. The Tai Ching semi-sage was forced to retreat. Although the great purity godly virtual mirror was very powerful, it could not compare to a divine artifact of the great path. It could not compete with a divine artifact of the great path. Buzz! Just as the old tortoise forced the Tai Ching semi-sage to retreat, a golden dragon rushed over from a distance. The streams of light that shot out in that direction were shattered one after another. That was a dragon shadow that looked like a real dragon. The dragon shadow erupted with a soaring sword chi, and the golden divine light illuminated the entire world. The golden dragon rushed over, and a majestic holy dragon's aura shook the heavens. This was the power of the heavenly dragon sword. The old tortoise immediately changed his expression, and Yao Tian made his move. This demon race semi-sage seemed to have a belly full of grievances. The old tortoise knew that ever since he returned to the demon race, Yao Tian had been cast aside by the experts of the demon race. Yao Tian was originally very hopeful to become the leader of the demon race, but now that the old tortoise was back, he suddenly fell from his high and mighty position. It was absolutely impossible for Yao Tian not to hate the old tortoise. Heavenly Dragon Divine Sword! The old tortoise, who was sitting cross-legged on the Tai Sovereign Seal, could not help but narrow his eyes when he saw the golden dragon rushing over. He was very familiar with this divine artifact because it was made by a saint of the dragon race. And this saint of the dragon race had some friendship with the old tortoise. The original body of the heavenly dragon divine sword was a heavenly dragon, and it was an ancient heavenly dragon. This was because this divine sword was refined from the body of an old friend of the old tortoise. The power contained in the heavenly dragon divine sword was not to be underestimated. If its power was fully unleashed, even the old tortoise would have to retreat. It could destroy everything in the world, and only a divine artifact of the extreme path could suppress it. The old tortoise was not careless. He attracted another divine light of the great path, and then strangled the dragon that was rushing over. Clang! The divine light of the great path tangled with the golden dragon, and there was a sound of metal clashing. The divine light of the great path could not destroy the golden dragon's shadow. However, the divine light of the great path blocked the heavenly dragon divine sword. Yao Tian-du, are you forcing me to kill you? The old tortoise's words were extremely cold. He did not want to kill Yao Tian-du before because Yao Tian was a member of the demon race, and he was a demi-saint demon. In this world where saints were extinct, demi-saints were invincible. There were not many demi-saints in the demon race, and if the demon race were to kill them, the demon race would suffer a great loss. This was why the old tortoise did not take any action even though he knew that Yao Tian-du was disloyal. Humph! It's not certain who will kill who! Yao Tian-du sneered. Since he had already made his move, there was no turning back. Today, either the old tortoise or Yao Tian-du would die. There was only one demon lord in the demon race. Buzz! The heavenly dragon divine sword vibrated. Yao Tian used all his strength to activate the heavenly dragon divine sword, causing the heavenly dragon divine sword to emit a divine might of the great path. Within the divine sword there seemed to be a primordial heavenly dragon awakening, and the aura of a divine dragon filled the world. Everyone's hearts trembled, and their expressions changed dramatically. If it were not for the fact that everyone present had a holy weapon, it was likely that they would not be able to stand. Even with the protection of a holy weapon, they could still feel their spirits trembling. Chapter 1195. He activated the power of the heavenly dragon sword with all his might. It was as if an ancient heavenly dragon was awakening, and the aura of the divine dragon filled the sky and the earth. Everyone's expression changed. The aura of the ancient heavenly dragon shocked the heavens, and the golden dragon's shadow seemed to be coming out of the void. Every scale was opening and closing, emitting a sonorous sound that shook one's heart. Although it wasn't a true primordial sky dragon, it wasn't too far off. Bam! The power of the Tai Huang seal that the old turtle drew was shattered, and the divine light of the great path collapsed. Broken Tao patterns shot out, and then disappeared in the void. Buzz! The heavenly dragon's sword let out a sword cry that resounded through the 9 heavens, and a sword wave spread out. Sword she swept in all directions, and the tip of the sword pointed straight at the old turtle. The old turtle sat cross-legged on the Tai Huang seal, and endless demonic light bloomed all over his body. An extremely powerful dragon aura erupted from his body, and there seemed to be an ancient heavenly dragon awakening in his body. Divine patterns of the great path appeared around him. He connected with the Tai Huang seal and attracted the dragon-like divine light of the great path. The divine light of the great path, which was formed by 18 interweaving Tao patterns, was drawn by him. Without saying anything, the old turtle directly shot out the 18 divine lights of the great path. Each divine light was surrounded by Tao patterns, and each divine light surged with the power of the great path that made the world lose its brilliance. Everyone's expression changed. Was the crown prince risking his life? The yellow skeleton, the old Taoist, the Tai Ching half-saint, and the great demon all stopped and then retreated. This was the power of the Tai Huang seal, an ultimate divine artifact. No one in the world dared to confront it head-on. Everyone was afraid of being hurt. Gu Fei also retreated. Even with the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, he had to be careful. He was not willing to take the risk. The collision of the ultimate divine artifacts was likely to destroy a part of the world. Now, everyone was just using divine artifacts, and they had already displayed a terrifying power that could destroy the world. The divine light of the great path collided with the sword wave created by the heavenly dragon's sword. This was a collision of the two powers of the great path. There was nothing fancy about it. At Old Tortoise and Yao Tian's level of cultivation, there was no need for them to use any tricks. As long as they unleashed their strongest attacks, any tricks would be destroyed in an instant. The void was silently annihilated, and the patterns of the way were collapsing. The terrifying power of the great path crushed everything, and nothing was left. The heavenly dragon divine sword let out a mournful cry, as if it had a life of its own. The golden dragon-like sword she was dispersed, and the divine sword trembled, almost falling from the sky. Compared to an extreme path sacred weapon, the heavenly dragon divine sword was nothing. After 18 consecutive attacks, the sky dragon divine sword's light was scattered by the divine light of the great path. In the end, it was knocked away. Even Yao Tian was severely injured. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood and flew backward. Swoosh! Just as Yao Tiandu was sent flying, a figure instantly appeared beside Yao Tiandu and struck him with a palm. You! Yao Tian was shocked. He barely managed to block with his hands. Kacha! The sound of bones breaking was heard, and Yao Tiandu's hands were broken. White bones were exposed, and blood splattered everywhere. Moreover, that person's palm did not stop. Bam! Kacha! With a muffled sound, the sound of bones breaking was heard again. That person's palm landed on Yao Tiandu's chest. His chest caved in, and all his bones were crushed. Yao Tiandu's body was almost split in half by that palm. Blood had already clogged his throat, and Yao Tian could not even scream. His body was like a broken sack, and he was sent flying thousands of feet away. Everyone was taken aback. The one who made a move was actually the mysterious yellow skeleton. The mysterious yellow divine light in its skull flickered, and then it grabbed the heavenly dragon divine sword. It struck Yao Tiandu to snatch the heavenly dragon divine sword. The golden skeleton did not seem to have a divine implement, but it could compete with others for the embryo of the way. It was truly unbelievable. Now that it held the heavenly dragon divine sword, its aura suddenly rose to its peak. Hum! The heavenly dragon divine sword vibrated in the hands of the mysterious yellow skeleton. It was like a golden dragon struggling. This was a saint weapon, it already had its own spirit. Naturally, it wasn't easy to control. But soon, the heavenly dragon divine sword in the golden skeleton's hand calmed down. What? When everyone saw this, they couldn't help but be taken aback. This mysterious yellow skeleton actually suppressed the heavenly dragon divine sword so quickly. This was something that no one expected. After all, it was absolutely not an easy task to control a saint weapon. Even if a half-saint obtained a saint weapon, he would need to refine it for a period of time before he could barely use it. Roar! Yao Tiandu roared in anger from afar. Demonic aura soared to the sky, and a huge shadow loomed, like a great ancient demon roaring. He did not expect that he would not be able to kill Old Tortoise, and that the heavenly dragon divine sword would be snatched away. That was the demon race's divine sword, a weapon left behind by an ancient great saint of the demon race. It was incomparably important to the entire demon race. In this world where saints were extinct, a divine weapon was, in a sense, a deterrent force. Having lost the heavenly dragon divine sword, Yao Tian was on the verge of going berserk. The demonic energy in his body was boundless, and his wounded body was recovering rapidly. In just a few breaths, his broken arms and sunken bones were all healed. Swoosh! Yao Tiandu directly rushed towards the golden skeleton, wanting to take back the heavenly dragon divine sword. However, the golden skeleton shook the heavenly dragon divine sword in its hand, and a golden sword wave immediately rushed out from the divine sword, spreading towards Yao Tiandu like a golden ripple. Heavenly demon forgetting slash! Yao Tiandu roared in anger. Endless demonic light gathered in his eyes, but his eyes did not emit a bright light. Instead, they were like two bottomless black holes, devouring endless demonic energy. Swoosh! Divine light flashed in the depths of the bottomless black holes. Two ink-black blade shadows, less than a foot long, rushed out from Yao Tiandu's eyes and slashed forward. Heavenly demon forgetting slash? Old Tortoise, who was sitting cross-legged on top of the Thai sovereign's seal, was shocked to see this scene. This was an ultimate killing technique created by the heavenly demon. The forgetting slash that was shot out from his eyes could destroy the void of the world. The golden sword wave was broken apart by the two black blade shadows, and the two blade shadows streaked across the void soundlessly towards the mysterious yellow skeleton. At this time, everyone came back to their senses and attacked Old Tortoise together. Gu Fei soared into the sky and intercepted one of them. This person was the old Taoist who trapped him in the 3,000 voids. It was not easy to deal with this old Taoist at all. The old Taoist seemed to be standing outside of the world, and there were voids circling around him. This was the immortal Tao's 3,000 worlds phenomenon. Although it was not the real 3,000 worlds, it was still a great threat to Gu Fei. Once trapped in the 3,000 voids, it would be very difficult to rush out. Chapter 1196. The celestial demon forgets emotion was invincible in the world. The celestial demon forgets emotion / could destroy the void of heaven, earth, and everything. In ancient times, this killing skill had shaken the entire untainted land. The killing technique created by the extreme path demonic saint was definitely the most terrifying killing technique in the world. Apart from the great techniques created by other extreme path demonic saints, it could be said to be invincible. The killing skill created by Skyless Demon was definitely not inferior to Tai Huang's soul-slaying skill. Swoosh! The golden skeleton did not dare to neglect. It shook the heavenly dragon sword in its hand, wanting to destroy the two black saber shadows with the holy sword. However, the two saber shadows suddenly accelerated and disappeared into the void. The next moment, the two saber shadows suddenly slashed out from the void in front of the golden skeleton. Without a sound or presence, the two pitch-black blade shadows cut through the void. It was impossible to guard against them, and they instantly killed the mysterious yellow skeleton's body. Clang! Without any suspense, the two black saber shadows instantly slashed through the golden skeleton's body, producing a clanging sound like a peerless divine weapon. What? Yao Tian was dumbfounded when the two black saber shadows failed to kill the mysterious yellow skeleton. Every bone on the mysterious yellow skeleton's body was flowing with mysterious yellow divine light. The two saber shadows couldn't hurt the mysterious yellow skeleton at all. The celestial demon forgets emotion / could not break the golden skeleton's body? Not to mention Yao Tian, even Old Tortoise was shocked. What kind of body was this? Could it be the body of a supreme demon forgets emotion / Otherwise, how could it resist the celestial demon forgets emotion / One should know that the celestial demon forgets emotion / was a supreme killing skill that could destroy the void of heaven and earth. Even Yao Tian was not strong enough to fully exert the power of this great skill, but it could definitely kill a half-step saint. The body of a half-step saint definitely could not withstand the attack of the celestial demon forgets emotion / The two black saber shadows blended into the void and flew backward, slashing at the golden skeleton's head. They wanted to split open the skull of the golden skeleton and kill its spirit. However, at that moment, the mysterious yellow skeleton was already alerted. It disappeared from where it was and instantly appeared in front of Yao Tiandu. The speed of the mysterious yellow skeleton was so fast that it was even faster than teleportation. Yao Tiandu was greatly alarmed and didn't hesitate to attack. However, the mysterious yellow skeleton was faster than him and shot out another palm. The bony hand suddenly pressed on Yao Tiandu's chest. Bam! A muffled sound rang out, and blood appeared. Yao Tiandu's entire body was split into two by this palm strike. The lower half of his body fell from the sky, while the upper half was sent flying. Yao Tian, who had lost his heavenly dragon divine sword, was no match for the mysterious yellow skeleton. The spectators couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts when they witnessed this scene. This fellow actually defeated a half-saint with such ease. That was something that none of them had imagined. The mysterious yellow skeleton had easily defeated Yao Tiandu, and he still wanted to make a move to completely eliminate this enemy. But at this time, a divine light of the great path rushed out from the Tai Huang seal like a huge dragon, rushing toward the Xian Huang skeleton. The divine light of the great path could kill a saint. Even the yellow skeleton had to retreat. Humph! Although he is a traitor of our demon race, it is not up to others to kill him. The voice of the old tortoise sounded in the void. It was he who made a timely move and saved Yao Tiandu's life. The Tai Ching demi-saint wanted to take this opportunity to eliminate the demon race half-saint, but after hearing the words of the old tortoise, he didn't have the intention to do so. Yao Tiandu only had half of his body left, and his physical body was severely injured. Although it was not fatal, his vitality was greatly damaged, and he was no longer able to fight. This fellow was also a decisive person. He didn't think too much and directly fled into the distance. If he didn't leave, he might lose his life here. No one went after Yao Tiandu because in everyone's eyes, there was only Tian's Dao fetus. Buzz! The void shook, and the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror emitted an unprecedentedly powerful divine light, attacking the old tortoise. The killing light was like the Milky Way, surging forward with indomitable will. On the other side, the black sun demon Venerable also made a move. Boom! A black sun emitted endless black light, and the terrifying power of the demonic way was like 100,000 volcanoes erupting at the same time, spreading from the black sun. The void was shattering, and heaven and earth were annihilated. Between heaven and earth, there seemed to be a divine moon and a demonic Sunday. The power of the great way spread to the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and the entire world began to collapse and collapse. At this time, the Tai Ching demi-saint and the black sun demon Venerable actually showed signs of joining forces. Swoosh! The golden dragon soared for thousands of miles, and the yellow skeleton waved the heavenly dragon sword in its hand, directly shattering the divine light of the great way, and directly launched a powerful attack at the old tortoise. The endless divine dragon aura spread from the heavenly dragon sword in the yellow skeleton's hand, shattering the void of heaven and earth, and destroying a part of the world. The destructive sword light shook in all directions. The heavenly dragon sword in the yellow skeleton's hand displayed great power, which was much more powerful than when it was in the hands of Yao Tiandu. The 3 half-saints launched a powerful attack with the sacred weapon. Even a real sage would be shocked, let alone the old tortoise. Even with the Tai sovereign seal in hand, the old tortoise felt great danger. The power of the sacred weapon was enough to destroy this part of the world, and even the 49 dragon mountains below might be affected. At this time, heaven and earth shook, and the extreme formation of the land of earth had already been activated, and the 49 dragon mountains emitted endless essence of heaven and earth. Rumble! There seemed to be a huge millstone on the land of earth, and the essence of the 49 dragon mountains were drawn by the extreme formation of the land of earth, forming a terrible power that could destroy the world. Without the suppression of the extreme sacred weapon, the extreme formation of the land of earth showed its true power. There was no time, and if the extreme formation of the land of earth was fully activated, everyone here would be in danger of dying. One should know that the extreme formation of the land of earth operated with the power of the 49 dragon mountains. Those were the 49 ancestral veins of earth, and the power contained in them was so huge that it could be said to be endless. Even a supreme sage might not be able to resist such power head-on. Just when the 3 half-saints launched their strongest attack, the Tao fetus that was bound by the Tai sovereign seal suddenly shook, and endless Tao rhymes circulated. Flawless marks of the Great Way intertwined, and the power of the Great Way was mighty. A vague figure condensed in the Tao fetus, and then walked out. This is Chapter 1197. It was a blurry figure. The figure was very burly, giving off an oppressive feeling like a huge mountain. The figure took a step out from the fetus of Tao. He then stretched out his hand and swiped in the void. The divine light of the great path that rushed out from the Tai Huang seal immediately shattered in the void. The fetus of Tao trembled and broke free from its shackles. It then rushed into the sky. It rushed into the distance. Everyone was shocked that the fetus of Tao was going to fly away. Swoosh! Old Tortoise immediately chased after it with the Tai Huang seal. The others also put away their holy weapons and used them to protect themselves. They rode on conveyance lights and chased after it with all their might. The extreme Great Path Matrix was activated. The power that could destroy the heavens and the earth was vast. Even the fetus of Tao sensed the danger and wanted to leave this area. Gu Fei used the mountain and river cauldron to protect himself and rushed out. He had the speed of 8 steps. In just a few steps, he had already caught up with the Black Sun Demon Lord. He then attacked the Black Sun Demon Lord. Virum! The sword light of the purple gold divine sword lit up the whole place. The sword aura rushed out. The sword aura of Gu Fei with all his might seemed to have split the whole world in half. The layers of demonic chi collapsed under the sword light. Even the Black Sun Demon Lord was frightened. This was an attack from the extreme Great Path Divine Sword. The black sun above the Black Sun Demon Lord's head was shaking. A terrifying power of demonic way spread out from the Black Sun. It was as if a terrifying ancient demon had awakened in the Black Sun. The towering demonic chi condensed into a 10,000 feet tall demonic shadow. Then, the 10,000 feet tall demonic shadow stretched out its hands and blocked the purple gold sword light. The layers of demonic chi smashed forward like a tsunami. The entire void was shattered in an instant, turning into a chaotic land of nothingness. Swoosh! The purple gold sword light was invincible. It directly broke through the layers of devil chi and slashed the 10,000 feet tall demonic shadow. Moreover, after slashing the 10,000 feet tall demonic shadow, the sword light's momentum did not diminish. It fiercely slashed the Black Sun. The Black Sun that emitted the power of demonic way was smashed away by the purple gold sword light. The Black Sun Demon Lord also suffered a great impact. A few drops of demonic blood dripped from the sky. Extreme Saint Weapon! Within the demonic chi, the cold voice of the Black Sun Demon Venerable could be heard. He was not forced back by Gu Fei, but he was suppressed by the power of the Extreme Tao Saint Weapon. The power of the Extreme Tao was not something that could be resisted. After being blocked by Gu Fei, the Black Sun Demon Venerable immediately distanced himself from the escaping Tao fetus. Gu Fei wanted to stop all of them so that the old turtle could collect the embryos of Tao. He attacked with all his might, and every strike was earth-shattering, causing the void in this part of the world to crumble. His battle intent surged and his chi and blood surged violently. After repelling the Black Sun Demon Venerable, he set his sights on the mystic yellow skeleton. A supreme saber light shot out from his left hand. The peerless saber light dominated the world. After rushing out of Gu Fei's left hand, it immediately turned into an extremely ferocious dragon, madly devouring the mysterious yellow skeleton. This is... The mysterious yellow skeleton was taken aback as well. It seemed to have figured out the origin of the peerless saber. Divine light flickered in its eye sockets, and it sent out a strong divine thought. The peerless saber light turned into a dragon, and when it slashed out, the world seemed to lose its brilliance. The mysterious yellow skeleton did not dare to go head-on against the power of the saber, and instantly disappeared on the spot. Swoosh! The peerless dragon formed by the saber light rushed past, and the place where the mysterious yellow skeleton was immediately turned into nothingness, and everything was destroyed in an instant. In the next moment, the figure of the mysterious yellow skeleton seemed to have walked out of the void, and appeared 100 miles away. This was not teleportation, but a magical technique that was much more mysterious than teleportation. Gu Fei could not help but be startled at the sight of this. It was a little beyond his expectation that he could not stop the mysterious yellow skeleton. A half-saint was the most powerful existence in the world. As long as the sages did not appear, a half-saint was invincible. This was not an empty saying. In just an instant, everyone rushed out of the extreme Tao formation, and left the range of the 49 Dragon Mountains. Roar! All of you, stay here for me! Gu Fei's long hair fluttered wildly, and the moment he rushed out of the extreme Tao formation, his body erupted with a terrifying true force. Boom! The heavens and earth trembled, as though the entire world was about to collapse. The space within a radius of 1,000 zhang around Gu Fei was instantly shattered by the vast energy that surged out from Gu Fei. With Gu Fei as the center, a terrifying spatial crack spread out in all directions. Each spatial crack was thousands of meters long, and it seemed as if it would tear the world apart. Everyone felt a palpitating aura, and the power that erupted from Gu Fei's body made their hearts tremble, and they could not help but change their expressions. Buzz! The void shook as Gu Fei turned into a beam of divine light. With an unimaginable speed, he caught up with the Xianhuang skeleton in an instant and stomped on the Xianhuang skeleton. What? The mysterious yellow skeleton was shocked. It had never thought that Gu Fei's strength would increase to such a terrifying level in an instant. It had increased by 10 times, no, more than 10 times. Gu Fei's speed was too fast. Even with the mysterious yellow skeleton's cultivation and strength, it could not avoid the huge foot that was stomping on its head, and was directly stomped down by Gu Fei. Boom! The earth shook, and the mysterious yellow skeleton fell from the sky like a meteorite, smashing a huge pit in the ground below, and dust flew up, and a circle of smoke spread out in all directions. Gu Fei took 3 steps in succession, and each step crossed the void, trampling Black Sun Demon Venerable, Tai Ching's semi-sage, and the old Taoist who had manifested the 3,000 voids down from the sky. Stepping on a half-sage, Gu Fei's strength was unparalleled, and his combat strength was shocking. It was like the reincarnation of an ancient invincible ancestor of war, tyrannical to an unimaginable extent. He actually intercepted 4 half-sages, and if such a battle achievement were to spread, the entire heaven realm would be shaken. Roar! The 4 half-sages rushed out from the ground, and each of them was in a sorry state. They were actually trampled down from the sky by a junior, and all of them were enraged. This was unacceptable to them. One should know that they were usually high and mighty, and had never been trampled by anyone before. This was a great humiliation. However, no matter how great the humiliation was, it could not be compared to becoming a sage. Although the 4 half-sages could not wait to tear Gu Fei into pieces, they did not attack Gu Fei, and directly rushed in the direction of the Tao fetus. Swoosh! The old Taoist manifested the 3,000 voids, as if he was walking in the 3,000 worlds. With just a few steps, he was already 1,000 miles away, and his speed was so fast that it seemed to be on par with Gu Fei's 8 steps. The Black Sun Demon Venerable's figure disappeared in the Devil Chi, and he merged with the Black Sun above his head. He then turned into a ray of black light, and instantly disappeared in the void. The Xianhuang skeleton and the Tai Ching half-sage executed their skills and chased after him. However, Gu Fei had already locked onto them. He raised his hand and struck, and the 3,000 voids were shattered, causing the old Taoist to fall from the sky. He then took a step forward and appeared directly above the Black Sun Demon Venerable. He stepped on the Black Sun, and the Black Sun fell from the sky. Boom! It was as if a real Black Sun had fallen from the sky, and the entire ground was shattered by the Black Sun, causing the land within 1,000 miles to sink. The Xianhuang skeleton and the Tai Ching half-sage were no exception. They were instantly caught up by Gu Fei, and Gu Fei struck them to the ground with lightning speed. Damn it! You're courting death! Are you forcing me to kill you? The 4 half-sages roared furiously. Seeing that their hopes of becoming sages were about to disappear, everyone was extremely nervous, and could not wait to fly to where the Tao fetus was. However, Gu Fei was like an unparalleled god of war, intercepting them all. This made the 4 half-sages want to kill Gu Fei. Gu Fei was trying his best to buy time for the old tortoise. Although he seemed to be suppressing the 4 half-sages and displaying his undefeatable battle prowess, he knew very well that he could not maintain such an undefeatable state for long. Tao runes circulated around his body. He was using one of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao, the secret art of ascension, to increase his strength to the limit. Logically speaking, even if Gu Fei were to use the secret art of ascension, it would be difficult for him to go against any half-sage. However, he had activated the power of 3 extreme sacred weapons. The stronger his own strength, the more power he could activate from the extreme sacred weapons. Only in this way would he be able to fight against a half-sage. The 4 half-sages rushed forward several times, but they were all intercepted by Gu Fei. No matter what kind of technique they used, Gu Fei directly broke them with absolute strength. This was the supreme profundity of the martial Tao. It didn't matter if you had tens of thousands of divine techniques or Tao laws. As long as I'm strong enough, I can break all techniques with a single punch. Gu Fei had used a small portion of the power of the 3 extreme path sacred weapons to strengthen himself, which was enough. Even if a half-step saint executed a great art, he could use his fists to break it. The 4 half-sages were going crazy. The aura of the Tao fetus had become very weak, and it was about to leave their sensing range. This was not a good thing. The 4 half-sages knew that they would not be able to catch up to the demon emperor and fight for the Tao fetus if they could not defeat Gu Fei. Therefore, they all attacked Gu Fei at the same time. Bang! A mysterious yellow pagoda fell from the sky like a mountain and pressed down on Gu Fei's head. The endless power of the mysterious yellow pagoda was boundless, and the entire void was sealed. The void was annihilated, and the mysterious yellow pagoda displayed a great divine might. Lines of the great Tao were circulating above the pagoda. This was the power of the great Tao. Although this mysterious yellow pagoda was not the real mysterious yellow pagoda, it had attracted a trace of the power of the great Tao under the drive of the mysterious yellow skeleton's supreme technique. Gu Fei couldn't help but palpitate. The power of the mysterious yellow pagoda was too strong. This mysterious yellow skeleton might have a great relationship with the mysterious yellow skeleton. Boom! Gu Fei blasted his fist upwards. He used the flawless 5 elements fist technique. Moreover, it was a punch with the power of the purple gold godly sword. A purple gold godly sun emerged above his fist, and the purple gold godly light penetrated the void. The purple gold godly sun and the mysterious yellow pagoda collided. The mysterious yellow pagoda was sent flying by Gu Fei's punch, and then disintegrated in the void. Chapter 1198. Gu Fei was incomparably powerful. He directly blasted out a punch and blasted the yellow pagoda that was pressing down from the sky high up in the sky. Then, the yellow pagoda disintegrated in the sky. Countless beams of golden light shot out in all directions, piercing through the void and destroying the world. Countless pitch-black spatial holes appeared high up in the sky. It was too powerful. At this moment, Gu Fei only felt that his body was filled with inexhaustible power. He could crush the heaven and earth with just a lift of his hand. This was a kind of almost invincible power. The yellow skeleton was forced to retreat. It was inexplicably shocked. The opponent could actually force it to retreat. What kind of cultivation technique was this? It could actually increase a person's power to this level. Could it be? The yellow skeleton was blasted thousands of feet away by Gu Fei's punch. The yellow divine light in its eye sockets flickered rapidly. It seemed to have thought of something. A violent wave of divine thoughts came out from its skull. Swish! A clear radiance, like the Milky Way, rushed over from the side. The holy power was vast and mighty. The Tai Ching semi-sage had made a move. The Tai Ching godly virtual mirror shone towards Gu Fei. Divine patterns rushed out from the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror. That was a phenomenon that would only appear when the mirror was activated. This was the release of the power of the great Tao. This was different from the yellow pagoda that the yellow skeleton had evolved with a great technique. This was the attack of a real divine tool. It was almost equivalent to a sage attacking Gu Fei. Even a semi-sage would have to retreat from such an attack. This was a terrifying power that could kill a semi-sage. It made the semi-sage present to be moved. Boom! Gu Fei did not dodge. He directly rushed forward. The true force in his body was surging violently. An extremely vigorous qi and blood shrouded in all directions. He blasted out an incomparably fierce punch. An extremely tyrannical and ferocious power rushed out from his left fist. He drew the power of the peerless ominous saber and struck out such a punch. Gu Fei's entire left arm had Dao patterns flowing and intertwining. The peerless ominous saber's power dominated the world. Gu Fei blasted out a punch that had a divine might that could destroy everything. Bam! The mirror light of the clear godly virtual mirror was dispersed by Gu Fei's punch. Gu Fei let out a furious roar and instantly raised the power of this punch to its limit. Pun! The sleeve on Gu Fei's arm was shattered into thousands of pieces by this force. He fiercely punched the Great Purity Godly Virtual Mirror, completely ignoring the power of the Great Purity Godly Virtual Mirror. With a muffled sound, Gu Fei's fist smashed directly onto the clear Godly Virtual Mirror, causing it to shake continuously. It almost flew out of Semi-Sage Tai Ching's hand. The Grand Pure One was sent flying, and the Grand Pure One Godly Virtual Mirror in his hand immediately dimmed. The Grand Pure One was shocked. He only felt a sharp pain in his arm that was holding the Divine Mirror. It was almost broken by Gu Fei's fist force. The physical body of a Semi-Sage was extremely strong. Even though Semi-Sage Tai Ching was not a warrior that cultivated the physical body, he was still a Semi-Sage after all. His flesh, blood, tendons, and bones all contained vast power of the immortal Tao. The strength of Semi-Sage Tai Ching's physical body was almost comparable to that of a mighty martial emperor. However, he still suffered a significant impact from Gu Fei's punch. Fighting against a sacred weapon with his bare hands? Everyone could not help but be dumbfounded when they saw this scene. However, the four Semi-Sages immediately felt relieved. They did not know what great technique this kid used to actually fuse the extreme Tao's sacred weapon into his body. How profound were the four Semi-Sages' knowledge? They knew that this was not Gu Fei's own power, but the power of the extreme Tao's sacred weapon. They were being suppressed by the power of the extreme Tao's sacred weapon. Gu Fei forced Semi-Sage Tai Ching to retreat, but the Black Sun Demon Venerable and the old Taoist attacked again. Buzz! The void trembled as the void around the old Taoist fluctuated violently like raging waves that surged towards Gu Fei. Gu Fei discovered that each void wave was a small world. The old man was creating 3,000 voids in an attempt to suck Gu Fei into them again. Gu Fei had been trapped by the 3,000 voids once before. This time, he knew how powerful it was. He executed the desolate steps and soared into the sky, dodging the void waves. Flawless 5 elements void break! Gu Fei let out a loud roar as he waved his hands. Boundless true force frantically gathered towards his fists. The power of the violet gold divine sword and the peerless savage saber were drawn out as much as possible. A pair of fists that seemed to be able to destroy the world came crashing down at the old Taoist. This was the flawless fist art created by Martial Ancestor Supreme. Gu Fei's fist seemed to contain 5 different heavens and earth, which then smashed downwards. The extremely ferocious fist energy shattered everything, piercing through the heavens and earth, displaying a might that caused everyone's hearts to palpitate. The old Taoist standing in the 3,000 voids had a change of expression. The 3,000 voids around him were shaking violently as if they could collapse at any time. Layers of void waves were collapsing. Gu Fei's fists seemed to be indestructible as they could even penetrate the heavens and earth, let alone the 3,000 voids that the old Taoist had created. Gu Fei, who was using the Heaven Ascension secret technique, displayed an invincible combat strength. The 3,000 voids that the old Taoist had created were shattered by his fists. The old Taoist's life was forced out from the 3,000 voids by Gu Fei. However, at the moment when Gu Fei had forced the old Taoist out from the 3,000 voids, the Black Sun Demon Venerable had arrived. A black sun came crashing down from the sky like 100,000 ancient demonic mountains. The terrifying demonic force that came from the black sun sealed the heavens and earth, sealing off all of Gu Fei's escape routes, making it impossible for Gu Fei to escape. At the same time, the real body of the Black Sun Demon Venerable appeared behind Gu Fei silently. He slammed his palm on Gu Fei's back, sending Gu Fei flying 3,000 zhang away. Even with the protection of the cauldron of mountain and river, Gu Fei still suffered a great impact, causing blood to leak out from the corner of his mouth. It was a full-force attack from a half-martial sacred, but it only managed to send Gu Fei flying instead of killing Gu Fei. Even the Black Sun Demon Venerable found it unbelievable. Roar! Gu Fei wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth. He then let out a furious roar and charged at the Black Sun Demon Venerable. He used the 8 desolation steps and displayed the extreme speed of 8 steps, closing in on the Black Sun Demon Venerable instantly. It was a great taboo for a martial artist to get close to him. The Black Sun Demon Venerable instinctively retreated without hesitation. Gu Fei's 8 desolation steps were unparalleled in the world. Under the state of using the Heaven Ascension secret technique, even the speed of a half-martial sacred was no match for Gu Fei. The Black Sun Demon Venerable was caught up by Gu Fei in an instant. What? How can he be so fast? The Black Sun Demon Venerable was truly taken aback. His opponent's speed was far too fast. Before he could even recall the saint weapon of the demonic path, the palm had already landed on his chest. Pfft. Chapter 1199. Roar! The Black Sun Demon Venerable let out a furious roar as demonic aura surged out from his body. Although his physical body was almost torn apart by Gu Fei's attack, he still managed to land a powerful punch on Gu Fei's chest. Kacha! The sound of bones cracking could be heard from Gu Fei's body. The place where his chest was punched had caved in, revealing a deep fist mark. The Black Sun Demon Venerable was ruthless. This was a method that would cause both sides to suffer. Gu Fei was sent flying over 10 miles away as he spat out a mouthful of blood. If it wasn't for the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, he would have been punched through by the Black Sun Demon Venerable. Although a half-sage was not a sage, it had the word sage attached to it. Every move was natural and powerful. Every move he made was a Tao Law sacred technique. The punch of the Black Sun Demon Venerable also contained a trace of Tao power. Even a half-sage would not dare to take it head-on. As the demonic aura penetrated his body, Gu Fei's face turned pale instantly. Buzz! The mountain and river cauldron vibrated and the primordial chaos chi surged. Immediately, the demonic aura that had invaded Gu Fei's body was expelled from his body. The fist mark that had sunk deep into Gu Fei's body also disappeared gradually. In the blink of an eye, Gu Fei's injured body had fully recovered. The physical body was the greatest advantage of a successful martial artist. No one could compete with a martial artist in terms of physical strength. This was because martial artists spent their entire lives tempering their physical bodies. To a martial artist, they did not need to use any weapons. This was because their physical bodies were already the best weapons. The Supreme Martial Ancestor was unparalleled in the 9 heavens and 10 lands. No one had ever heard of him using a weapon. The Supreme Martial Ancestor did not have an extreme Tao sacred weapon. This was definitely an anomaly for a supreme existence who had comprehended a flawless great Tao. When an extreme Tao expert achieved his Tao, he would definitely refine a Tao protection sacred weapon. The Tao ancestors, Fei ancestors, demon ancestors, and other supreme existences all had sacred Tao protectors. The ancient Buddhist Lord had refined more than one Buddhist artifact. Of course, the Millennium Buddha Lord was also an oddity because he had refined a lot of extreme Tao Buddhist weapons, unlike the other extreme Tao experts who only had one extreme Tao sacred weapon. Damn it! You actually injured my demonic body! The Black Sun Demon Lord was enraged. This was a great humiliation. To think that his demonic body would be pierced by a sovereign. This almost drove him crazy. Black light and demonic chi were flickering and surging. Streams of demonic chi rushed out from Black Sun Demon Venerable's body like huge dragons. His demonic body was also recovering rapidly, but the speed was obviously not as fast as Gu Fei. Rumble! A black sun rose from the head of the Black Sun Demon Venerable, emitting a terrifying demonic might that shocked all directions. Then, it directly pressed down on Gu Fei, destroying the void of heaven and earth under the black sun. Just as Gu Fei was about to use the flawless 5 elements fist, his expression suddenly changed. The terrifying aura that surged out from his body retreated like a tide. Time's up! Gu Fei was taken aback. The time limit for the secret art of ascension was up. He could no longer maintain his invincible state, and was powerless to stop the four half-sages. Boom! The black sun descended and the entire world seemed like it was about to collapse. Gu Fei was directly pressed down from the sky by the power of the black sun. Humph! An ant will always be an ant. Even if you have an extreme Tao sacred weapon, you are just a child playing with a big knife. What's the use? The black sun demon Venerable sneered. His murderous aura soared into the sky as he pressed forward, swearing to kill Gu Fei. At this moment, the mystic yellow skeleton, Tai Ching half-sage, and the old Taoist all soared into the sky and chased after the direction where the Tao fetus disappeared. Becoming a sage was their lifelong goal. Now that the hope of becoming a sage had appeared, no one was willing to give up. Everything else had to be put aside at this moment. They no longer cared about Gu Fei. In fact, no one was willing to care about Gu Fei at this moment. Gu Fei's body had a problem and could no longer stop them. Even the black sun demon Venerable stopped and recalled the black sun. He turned into a demonic light and chased after the mystic yellow skeleton and the others. The strike of the black sun caused the ground to sink. The area within a radius of 1,000 miles was turned into a barren land. Nothing could be preserved. The entire area disappeared, leaving only a huge pit. In the bottomless pit, boundless qi and blood surged. Gu Fei was not killed. With the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, the black sun demon Venerable could not kill Gu Fei. Gu Fei rushed out of the bottomless pit. His clothes were ragged and he was in a sorry state. There were even bloodstains on his body. The 9 secrets of immortal Tao allowed him to suppress a half-sage. However, once the time limit of the secret art of ascension was up, he would be beaten back to his original state. Although he could still fight against the half-sage with the power of the extreme Tao sacred weapon, it was impossible to stop 4 half-sages. At this moment, a clanging sound came from within Gu Fei's body. The purple gold divine sword and half of the peerless ominous saber rushed out from his body and entered his dantian. The dantian was connected to Gu Fei's inner world. The extreme Tao sacred weapon was stored in Gu Fei's inner world. After putting away the purple gold divine sword and half of the peerless ominous saber, Gu Fei felt his body collapsing. Using the extreme Tao sacred weapon required a huge amount of true energy. If it had been anyone else, they would have long had their vitality sucked dry by the 3 extreme saint weapons. Even without the 3 extreme saint weapons doing anything, they would have already been reduced to a dried corpse. Gu Fei flew towards the exit of the tomb. He no longer had the strength to fight against the half-sage. Even though the black sun demon Venerable's attack was not enough to kill him, it was still a huge blow to him. With Gu Fei's current cultivation, he could only use a trace of the power of the extreme Tao sacred weapon. Just like what the black sun demon Venerable said, even though he had the extreme Tao sacred weapon, it was like playing with a saber like a kid. Not only could he not use the power of the saber, he might even hurt himself if he was not careful. Gu Fei walked in the void, traveling tens of miles with each step. Using the extreme speed of 8 steps, he soon left the battlefield and appeared thousands of miles away. Boom! At this moment, an earth-shattering sound rang out in the distance. The entire world was shaking. Saintly might was mighty, shaking the world. Someone had used a sacred weapon. It was a battle between saints. These be asterisk stars. Gu Fei was secretly shocked. This wasn't the 49 Dragon Mountains. Without the protection of the extreme Tao sacred weapon, if those people were to use the sacred weapon with all their might, the entire world would be destroyed. Although he had the protection of the extreme Tao sacred weapon, he might not die. But if the world was destroyed, he would be swept into the chaotic void and lost in the endless void. Even a sage would not be able to return to this world. Without any hesitation, Gu Fei rushed towards the exit of the peerless great tomb. Rumble! At this moment, the sky and earth cracked. The void was really broken. The destructive power spread out, and the entire world seemed like it was going to collapse. Chapter 1200. The battle for the embryo of Tao broke out. Someone used a holy weapon to shatter the void. The earth sank and the terrifying holy might spread in all directions, shaking the entire world. Gu Fei didn't dare to stay any longer. He quickly rushed towards the entrance of the tomb. He wanted to rush out of the tomb before the battle broke out. However, Gu Fei seemed to be worrying too much. Even if someone used a holy weapon, it would be difficult to destroy this part of the world. The broken void was quickly repairing itself. There seemed to be some kind of power protecting this part of the world. It was very difficult to destroy it. Using the heavens and earth as a tomb, this peerless tomb had already existed since ancient times. Even the Tai Emperor had once entered this place. One could only imagine how extraordinary this tomb was. Even the passage of time couldn't destroy this peerless tomb, let alone a holy weapon. Unless someone could trigger a supreme attack from a holy weapon of the extreme path, no one could really destroy this peerless tomb. If this tomb could be destroyed so easily, it would have already ceased to exist. This was a tomb built by a master of the extreme path. It was shockingly extravagant to use a part of the world as a tomb. This kind of method was definitely not something an ordinary saint could do. Only a master of the extreme path had this ability. The Tai Emperor's seal's aura was vast and mighty. The Tai Emperor's seal was a demon weapon of the extreme path, not an ordinary holy weapon. The old turtle had the upper hand and could suppress all the holy weapons. However, those half-saints were not to be trifled with. Although the old turtle had a demon weapon of the extreme path, it was difficult for him to take away the embryo of Tao. This was a great battle between saints. Saint might constantly erupted from the depths of this part of the world. Every surge of saint might was vast and boundless, containing supreme power. Among them, there was the flickering light of the Tai Ching godly virtual mirror, and there was also a huge golden dragon leaping about. There were 7 holy might in this part of the world. The whole world was shaking and large cracks in the void were constantly spreading out from the depths of this part of the world. The world was torn apart, and the earth sank. This was the power of a holy weapon. It could unleash an attack from a saint. Below the saint level, everyone was an ant. Between a saint and a great expert, one was high and insurmountable, while the other was underground. At a time like this, even emperors at the almighty level could not interfere. The powerhouses of the almighty realm were constantly retreating from the depths of this world. Those who were attacking were all half-stepped great sages with holy weapons. 7 saints might, that meant that there were 7 saint weapons fighting. The vast and mighty auras were too strong, even Gu Fei's heart palpitated, let alone the others. Even emperors at the almighty realm felt their souls tremble. Gu Fei had the protection of the cauldron of mountain and river, but he still felt a sense of danger. He used the desolate steps and quickly arrived at the entrance of this world. Without hesitation, he rushed out of the entrance of the great tomb. Boom! Just as Gu Fei rushed out from the exit, an extremely powerful force erupted above Gu Fei's head. A huge bronze bell emitted a monstrous wave of energy. It descended from the sky and enveloped Gu Fei. Someone made a move at the moment when Gu Fei rushed out of the great tomb. The huge bronze bell pressed down like a mountain, sealing the void, so that Gu Fei could not escape and was sucked into the huge bell. A cry of surprise sounded. Then, a group of bright starlight rushed over from the side, and then, like a meteor, smashed into the huge bronze bell. Dang! The huge bronze bell made a bell sound, and a circle of transparent ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from the huge bronze bell. Wherever the transparent ripples passed, the nearby mountains were instantly turned into flying ashes. There were many cultivators gathered near the exit. Some of these cultivators rushed into the sky to avoid this destructive force, but some were directly killed by the shock of the bell wave. This was a terrible sound wave that could kill people invisibly. Everyone was shocked. The huge bronze bell was directly hit by the starlight and flew thousands of feet away. Inside the huge bronze bell, Gu Fei only heard a sound in his ears, and then he could not hear anything else. He almost fainted from the shock. The powerful sound waves vibrated in the huge bronze bell, forming a killing power that surged towards Gu Fei from all directions. However, they were all blocked by the shadow of a huge cauldron that appeared around Gu Fei. Who was it that was attacking him? Gu Fei was shocked and angry. He activated the power of the cauldron of mountain and river, and a huge cauldron condensed around Gu Fei. It then rapidly expanded, and in an instant, it filled the entire huge bronze bell. And outside there was a young man with starlight above his head, like a huge star floating in the sky. He was fighting a big demon with a towering demonic aura. This was a demon emperor. This demon emperor had a head of long blue hair, and a pair of antlers on his head. The antlers were sparkling like red divine jade, and there seemed to be traces of fire flowing within them. The person who was fighting this demon emperor was none other than Erebus. Clang! He Tian activated the huge star, and the endless power of the stars condensed into rays of killing light. The rays of killing light were like starlight swords, and they pierced towards the blue-haired demon emperor. The blue-haired demon emperor flipped his hand, and a fan that was surrounded by flames appeared in his hand. This was a fan that was refined with red feathers. The red feathers looked like they were formed by the essence of fire, and there were traces of Emperor's aura flowing around them. This was an Emperor divine weapon. Whoosh! The blue-haired demon emperor directly fanned at He Tian, and monstrous flames immediately rushed out from the red fan. The terrifying flames immediately enveloped the whole sky, and the void almost collapsed from the heat. The streaks of starlight that pierced through the sky were not extinguished by the monstrous flames of the blue-haired demon emperor's fan. Instead, they directly broke through the layers of flames, and rushed towards the blue-haired demon emperor. This is... The blue-haired demon emperor was shocked. His opponent's huge star seemed to be a divine weapon of the Almighty, and a divine weapon of the celestial being realm was not comparable to an emperor divine weapon of the celestial being realm. The blue-haired demon emperor turned into a ray of demonic light and retreated. At the same time, a pitch-black shield appeared in front of the blue-haired demon emperor. The pitch-black divine shield was surrounded by essence, and the divine shield quickly enlarged. The streaks of starlight hit the pitch-black divine shield, but the divine shield was not penetrated, and only a few shallow marks were left on its surface. Just as He Tian forced the blue-haired demon emperor to retreat, the bronze divine bell that trapped Gu Fei suddenly shook, and then it was gradually expanded by something from the inside. Soon, cracks appeared on the bronze divine bell, and it seemed as if a terrifying prehistoric beast was about to rush out from the divine bell. Boom! Chapter 1201. How is this possible? Everyone was stunned. A divine weapon of an Almighty was broken just like that. Everyone who witnessed this scene was dumbfounded. It should be known that that was a divine weapon of an Almighty. In the heaven realm, Almighty's divine weapons were also known as imperial weapons. This was because Almighty's divine weapons were known as emperors in the heaven realm. The divine weapons refined by Almighty were known as imperial weapons. In the heaven realm, there were many emperors with Almighty's imperial weapons. However, no one had ever heard of anyone being able to break an imperial weapon. Unless it was a semi-saint, but this young man who rushed out from the great tomb was definitely not a semi-saint. He was not even a Tao-severing Almighty. Boom! Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Gu Fei was like an ancient war god. His whole body was filled with boundless qi and blood. His whole person gave off an extremely strong sense of oppression. He strode through the void, and with every step he took, the entire void trembled. It was as if an ancient divine mountain was moving, and his aura was unparalleled. How can a human have such vigorous qi and blood? Qi and blood like the sea. This person is unfathomable. When did such a person appear in the human race? In the surrounding sky or on the distant mountain peaks, many figures flashed. There were many experts who came out from the great tomb watching the battle. They did not leave. The feng shui formation laid down by the heaven, earth, and human masters of the Central Earth feng shui aristocrat family no longer existed. No one knew whether they had rescued the genius Duan Muhong. At this moment, Everyone already knew that Duan Wuhong had found this peerless tomb, and he had even used a nearly decayed saint bone to open this peerless tomb. The great tomb had existed for countless years. Even thousands of years could not erase it. Even if Duan Wuhong had the ability to transcend the heavens, he would still die if he entered it. However, at this time, no one cared about Duan Wuhong's life or death. A battle between saints had broken out in the great tomb. Terrifying Saint Might would occasionally surge out from the black hole on the ground. No one dared to approach. The whole area was shrouded by Saint Might. In this world where saints had disappeared, only saint weapons could emit Saint Might. This was a kind of supreme pressure that surpassed all living things in the world. Everyone's mind was shaken, and they all retreated far away. When the blue-haired demon emperor who had launched a sneak attack on Gu Fei saw that the situation was not right, he immediately turned around and rushed into the distance. He wanted to escape. Gu Fei was too monstrous. He had actually shattered the bronze divine bell. This was an imperial weapon that had been refined by a supreme being of the demon race, and was brought out by the blue-haired demon emperor. However, it had now been destroyed. This was a loss to the demon race, a loss that the blue-haired demon emperor could not afford to bear. The blue-haired demon emperor could not afford. When the bronze divine bell was broken, a almighty of the demon race, a demon emperor, a mighty, a dragon, a was the mighty. An emperor's might surged out from the ancient cave, and the depths of the mountain immediately fell into chaos. Countless savage beasts were startled, and they fled in all directions, knocking down many trees. Old ancestor! A few figures rushed out from the mountain. Each of them was a sovereign. They were the sovereigns of the demon race. Demonic chi rose from the mountain. These monarchs all looked in the direction of the ancient cave in shock, their faces filled with shock. Playing with fire? At this time, He Tian saw that the blue-haired demon emperor wanted to escape. He Tian was not willing to let him go. He chased after him and stretched out his hand. A 5-colored divine fan appeared in his hand. It was a divine fan refined with 5-colored feathers. The 5-colored divine light circulated and the power of the 5 elements intertwined. There seemed to be phoenixes appearing on the fan. Whoosh! He Tian waved the fan at the fleeing blue-haired demon emperor. As He Tian waved the fan, the power of the 5 elements in the void was activated. The essence of the 5 elements gathered from all directions and was ignited by the 5 elements fire essence that rushed out from the divine fan in He Tian's hand. Boom! Monstrous flames appeared in the sky and engulfed the whole place. The blue-haired demon emperor was immediately swallowed by the flames. There was no suspense. The space within a radius of 100 miles was instantly transformed into a 5-colored sea of fire. Everyone's expression changed. This is 5 elements divine fire! Many people were shocked to see this. The young cultivator was holding a 5 elements divine fire fan. It ignited the essence of the 5 elements and burned the void. The void was distorted by the heat. The blue-haired demon emperor roared in anger and wanted to rush out of the sea of fire. But who was He Tian? How could he let the blue-haired demon emperor escape so easily? Array patterns appeared on the 5 elements divine fire fan in his hand. Caw! A bird's cry was heard. A 3-legged divine bird rushed out of the 5 elements divine fire fan. This was not a real 3-legged divine bird. It was a shadow formed by the essence of the 5 elements fire. Back when Gu Fei and He Tian broke into the land of the fallen phoenix and lost dragon, they met a 3-legged divine bird that was born from the earth fire vein. That day, He Tian obtained the feather of the 3-legged divine bird. He said that he wanted to refine a divine fire fan. He seemed to have succeeded. When he waved the fan, the 5 elements divine fire was mighty and powerful. It was powerful enough to destroy everything. The 5 elements divine fire fan contained the essence of the 3-legged divine bird. This essence was driven by He Tian and turned into a divine bird. It rushed into the sea of fire in front of him. A scream of horror came from the sea of fire. Soon, the scream weakened and the blue-haired demon emperor's aura disappeared in the sea of fire. He was refined? There's going to be a good show. This demon emperor has a strong background. He actually killed him. They're in trouble. Bronze Divine Bell. Could this demon emperor be that person's descendant? In the end, the monstrous fire disappeared into the 5 elements divine fire fan in Hation's hand. A 3-legged divine bird appeared on the fan, surrounded by fiery aura. The blue-haired demon emperor was really refined by the 5-element divine fire. Only the pitch-black shield fell from the sky to the ground. However, after being refined by the 5-element divine fire, the shield had lost all its spirituality and became a piece of scrap metal. A divine weapon that could withstand the attack of a great sovereign weapon was actually refined to the point where its spiritual chi was completely depleted. This was truly shocking. This 5-elemental divine fire was simply too tyrannical. In an ancient cave in the depths of Nanling Mountain, a green magical lamp was extinguished. A roar resounded from within the ancient cave, causing the entire cave to tremble. If it wasn't for the formation protecting the entire ancient cave, it would have collapsed by now. Who is it? Who is it? How dare you kill my descendant? A deep voice echoed in the ancient cave. A shocking murderous aura rushed out from the cave. Several demon emperors in the distant mountains felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. Their bodies shivered. Chapter 1202. Hation had killed the blue-haired emperor beast with the 5-elemental godly fire. Everyone was astonished by his strength, as every emperor beast from the Nanling Mountains had experienced countless battles. Unfortunately, the blue-haired emperor beast had encountered Hation. Humph! How impressive! Gu Fei and Hation were about to leave, but at that instant, a figure appeared in front of them and stopped them from leaving. It was a black-haired middle-aged man. He did not have a strong physique, and was wearing a green robe. His skin was dark, and his appearance was ordinary, but no one dared to underestimate him. There was a vertical eye on his forehead, which was different from ordinary people. The vertical eye was tightly shut, and a faint demonic aura lingered around his body. Demon? Gu Fei's eyes widened. This person was not a human, but a demon. Furthermore, he could not see through the person's cultivation. The heavenly eye of Martial Path could see through all illusions, but this person was shrouded in a strange force, which even the heavenly eye of Martial Path could not see through. Is he carrying a forbidden weapon? Gu Fei was secretly shocked. This person must have a powerful background. What, are you going to stand up for the despicable person who ambushed our leader? Hation glanced at the person in front of him, and said coldly, "That guy is not worthy of me standing up for him. I just want to have a spar with you guys." The middle-aged man's body radiated with a powerful will to fight. That person seems to be the emperor of the demon race? The celestial-eyed emperor beast? There were people who recognized the middle-aged man and were discussing in low voices. These words were all transmitted into Gu Fei's ears. This person was indeed not ordinary. Humph! A friendly match? Hation laughed as the evil aura on his face intensified. A cold glint flickered in the depths of his eyes. The so-called sparring was just an excuse. Hation was using this as an excuse to avenge the blue-haired demon ruler. Everyone knew that the celestial-eyed demon emperor had stopped Gu Fei and Hation because he wanted to defeat the two of them and dampen their spirits. If you want to spar, we can arrange another time, Gu Fei said after thinking for a while. He was not afraid of the celestial-eyed demon emperor, but it was not a good time to cause trouble. At this moment, the saintly might emanating from the great necropolis was even stronger than before. It was so terrifying that it felt like it was going to overturn the entire world. Everyone was observing, and no one dared to approach the entrance of the peerless tomb. Are you scared? The celestial-eyed demon emperor sneered. Although you defeated the blue-haired kid, you're just two ants in my eyes. Since you're scared, just admit defeat. From now on, wherever I am, you'd better stay as far away from me as you can. Hation's eyes widened when he heard this. A murderous intent emanated from his body without any concealment, and the power of yin and yang circled around him. The power of yin and yang intertwined on He-Tian's body and seemed to be evolving into the great path of yin and yang. There was an inexplicably weak Tao rune circulating around his body. The people present could not help but be shocked when they heard the words of the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor. Was the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor forcing the two of them to fight? The strength of Gu Fei and He-Tian was obvious to all. Even some experts of the older generation who had cultivated for thousands of years might not be a match for them. Was the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor confident that he could defeat them? Very well, you've achieved your goal. Now I'm very angry, and the consequences will be severe. He-Tian flipped his right hand, and a feather fan with flowing 5-colored divine flames immediately appeared in his hand. Humph! The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor sneered. He then turned around and flew toward a nearby mountain range. He was not trying to escape, but he did not want to fight someone near the entrance of the tomb. Swoosh! He-Tian did not hesitate. He took a step in the void, covering thousands of feet with each step, and chased after the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor. Gu Fei could not help but frown when he saw this. The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor gave off an unfathomable feeling and was very mysterious. Who exactly was he? There were many experts of the demon clan present, but no one dared to stand up for the blue-haired demon emperor. Only the three-eyed demon wanted to fight Gu Fei and He-Tian alone. Gu Fei also chased after him. Although He-Tian was powerful and was half a step into the realm of mighty figures, and he was only half a step away from the great path-severing realm, his opponent was not weak either. Many people did not want to miss such a battle, and they also rushed into the nearby mountain range to watch the battle from afar. After entering the mountain range, He-Tian directly waved his fan at the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor without saying anything else. Endless 5 elements essence immediately gathered from all directions. A wisp of 5 elemental fire essence rushed out of the fan and instantly ignited the 5 elemental essence chi that had gathered from all directions. The entire world was instantly turned into a 5-colored sea of fire. This was the 5 elements divine fire. The void was burned to the point of distorting, and several mountains were instantly burned to ashes. The people who were watching the battle nearby had no choice but to retreat further away. The terrifying heatwave of the 5 elements divine fire burned everything. Not a single rock or tree was spared, and everything was turned into ashes. Even a thick layer of the ground was shaved off. Such a divine fire made everyone's heart palpitate. It was no wonder that the blue-haired demon emperor was trapped by the divine fire. This divine fire was too overbearing and terrifying, and it seemed to be able to burn everything. This is useless against me. The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor stood in the sea of fire, and endless divine fire surged around him. However, the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor seemed to be invulnerable, and all the divine fire that surged towards him could not get close to him. He seemed to have become one with the void of heaven and earth, but it also seemed like he was not in the 3 realms and 5 elements at all. His entire person became illusory. When He-Tian saw this, he could not help but be shocked. His eyes shone brightly. This person was actually able to enter his sea of fire, as if there was no one there. Gu Fei could not help but frown when he saw this. He's not afraid of the 5 elements divine fire? The people who were watching the battle from afar were dumbfounded. It was known that even emperors could not withstand this kind of 5-colored divine fire. The blue-haired demon emperor was a good example. This was a type of fire that could burn emperors into ashes. The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor moved quickly in the sea of fire and attacked He-Tian. 5 rays of divine light rushed out of his hand, broke through the layers of 5 elements divine fire, and pierced towards He-Tian. Buzz! The void trembled, and a huge star rose from the top of He-Tian's head. The dazzling starlight illuminated the entire world as if it was daytime. The terrifying power of the stars was vast and mighty, and the Emperor's might was terrifying. He-Tian used the divine weapon of a great figure. Chapter 1203. Boom! There was a deafening sound as if heaven and earth had collapsed. A circle of visible ripples spread out in all directions. Wherever it passed, more than a dozen mountains were instantly turned into ashes. The power of the stars that He Tian had triggered collided with the finger radiance of the heavenly eye demon emperor. The two extremely powerful forces erupted with terrifying fluctuations, and the mighty aftershocks caused the earth to undulate violently like waves. Everyone was shocked. This was a battle between two peak emperors. The heavenly eye demon emperor was the emperor of emperors and was invincible among his peers in the entire Nanling Mountains. Even those of the older generation who had cultivated for many years were no match for him. He had once fought his way into the 100,000 demonic mountains alone, took the head of an old demon emperor, and retreated calmly. This incident had shocked the entire Nanling Mountains. The demon clan and the demons had fought in the Nanling Mountains for countless years and attacked each other. However, it was unprecedented for the heavenly eye demon emperor to fight his way into the 100,000 demonic mountains alone, and kill an old demon emperor who had been famous for thousands of years. There was no doubt that the heavenly eye demon emperor was powerful. However, He Tian was not a good person either. He did not stick to a single pattern, and would use any means as long as he could defeat his opponent. Buzz! The huge star above He Tian's head vibrated, and spots of starlight appeared in the sky. Beams of starlight fell from the sky and merged into the huge star. A starry sky appeared in the sky. Countless stars were twinkling. He Tian had attracted the power of the stars from the 9 heavens with his extraordinary ability. Stars appearing in the daytime? Everyone was a little dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Why would there be stars appearing in the daytime? Such a strange phenomenon was too heaven-defying. Good! This way, it won't be boring! The heavenly eye demon emperor's eyes shone brightly as he stared at He Tian in front of him. His aura was rising rapidly, and the heavenly eye between his eyebrows was vibrating gently as if it was about to open. This demon emperor was very confident and proud. Humph! Do you think you're a Tai Huang? Or was it a sky demon? How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? He Tian said disdainfully. His background was mysterious. Even Gu Fei could not figure out his background. The arrogant look on the celestial eye demon emperor's face made He Tian very unhappy. Clang! Endless starlight poured down from the star above He Tian's head. Then, streams of starlight condensed around He Tian to form a dazzling divine sword. In just an instant, the space around He Tian was densely filled with sword shadows. Countless divine swords floated around He Tian, and the power of stars transformed into sword chi that shook the heavens and earth. Even those who were 100 miles away felt a chill run down their spines, as if a peerless divine sword was pressed against their throats. Boom! As He Tian's hands danced, the thousands of divine swords that floated around him began to dance around him. Every beam of sword radiance had the power to tear the void apart. Every beam of sword radiance streaked across the void quickly, leaving a spatial crack that looked like a black line. Go! As He Tian shouted, countless beams of sword radiance immediately flew forward. They were like tiny streams of flowing light that instantly streaked across the void and pierced through the celestial eye demon emperor in front of them. The silk-like sword radiance cut through the void. Everyone was moved when they saw this scene. Even the emperors of the older generation were shocked. A single beam of sword radiance was enough to destroy a mountain range. Sword of starlight? The celestial eye demon emperor's expression became solemn. His opponent was very strong. He was afraid that he had already stepped into the mighty realm, just like himself. In this world, it was almost impossible to become a sage. Even cutting one's way had become much more difficult. No one could cut their way easily. However, once he severed his Tao, he would be much more powerful than those who severed their Tao in the untainted land. He Tian and the celestial eye demon emperor had already taken half a step and were in a state of cultivation between mighty realm and celestial emperor. Such figures were known as half-emperors in the heaven realm, but in the human realm, they were known as half-mighty realm. Just as the thousands of sword radiance pierced through, a strange force suddenly surged from the celestial eye demon emperor's body. Then, the void around him turned pitch black. It was as if a spatial black hole had suddenly appeared. Then, everyone saw that a small universe seemed to have appeared around the celestial eye demon emperor. In the darkness, there were specks of divine light flashing, and a terrifying aura that seemed to have opened up the sky spread out, transforming the body into the universe, invincible. It was as if the celestial eye demon emperor was standing in a small universe. Galaxies could be vaguely seen in the pitch-black void. Thousands of sword lights rushed into the small universe around the celestial eye demon emperor and disappeared. Everyone who was watching the battle from afar was inexplicably shocked. The great technique that the celestial eye demon emperor displayed was too terrifying. He was simply invincible. The celestial eye demon emperor is invincible among his peers. It's really not a lie. He actually cultivated such a great technique. No wonder he could kill his way into the 100,000 demon mountains alone. Many people were amazed. The celestial eye demon emperor's great technique could indeed be considered invincible among his peers. This was truly invincible. Gu Fei could not help but frown when he saw this scene. The celestial eye demon emperor had the right to be arrogant. Such a strength was indeed almost invincible among his peers. He was even stronger than Zi Huang back then. He Tian felt a great deal of pressure. The strength of the other party was beyond his expectations. Such a great technique was terrifying, and it was innately invincible. Even if the celestial eye demon emperor stood still and let He Tian attack, He Tian might not be able to hurt the celestial eye demon emperor. Humph! I don't believe that your cosmic void can even take in my mighty holy weapon. He Tian was ruthless as he drove the large star above his head with all his might. Rumble! The entire world trembled as boundless starlight cascaded down from the 9 heavens. Mahakala had used his great star to draw upon the power of the stars in the heavens, and as the boundless power of the stars flowed into his body, it was as if a starry sky had appeared around him. He Tian began to press forward, and the starry sky around him also moved forward. The void between heaven and earth was almost crushed by the power of the stars. Everyone felt a great deal of pressure. The nearby mountains continued to collapse, and the entire mountain range was shaking. He Tian wanted to use absolute power to break the celestial eye demon emperor's invincible technique. It seemed that this was the only way to break the small universe outside the celestial eye demon emperor's body. Everyone was extremely nervous. The scene in front of them was absolutely shocking. The starry sky was moving towards the small universe in front of them. This was a battle of supreme techniques. There were no expenses, and there was no way to use tricks. Victory or defeat would be decided in one move. If he lost, he would probably lose his life. The starry sky around He Tian finally collided with the small universe of the celestial eye demon emperor. The two forces collided, but there was no sound. Where the starry sky and the small universe came into contact, the void between heaven and earth was silently annihilated. This was a great destruction, as if two worlds had collided. This kind of destructive power would probably make even the expressions of mighty figures change. Roar! He Tian roared, and the essence of his body was vast and mighty. The power of yin and yang intertwined between his eyebrows, as if a divine eye was about to open. The starry sky around He Tian was annihilated, and the small universe of the celestial eye demon emperor was also collapsing. Bright starlight fell from the 9 heavens, and the power of the stars was endless. However, the small universe of the celestial eye demon emperor was also attracting the power of the void between heaven and earth. It was absorbing the power of heaven and earth, making the small universe more and more real. He Tian was still approaching the celestial eye demon emperor step by step. With every step he took, countless large stars were annihilated in front of him, and the power of the stars was obliterated by the power of the small universe. During this process, the celestial eye demon emperor was not having it easy. With every step He Tian took, his body trembled. Although he was not forced to retreat, his dark face had already become black and red. He Tian was using absolute power to break the invincible technique of the celestial eye demon emperor. This was a martial arts method to break all techniques with force. He Tian had been with Gu Fei for a long time, so he naturally knew some of the mysteries of martial arts. In the face of absolute power, any magical technique would be destroyed. Very good! I didn't expect you to make me show my true strength, the celestial eye demon emperor suddenly said. Then, the closed divine eye between his brows began to emit rays of divine light. A terrifying aura spread from between the celestial eye demon emperor's brows, as if a terrifying primordial beast was about to awaken. The celestial eye demon emperor is going to go all out. How terrifying! Is this the true strength of the celestial eye demon emperor? Everyone was extremely shocked. The reason why the celestial eye demon emperor was called that was because of the divine eye between his brows. It was a heavenly eye. If the heavenly eye were to open, it could destroy the void between heaven and earth and kill all enemies. In the entire heaven realm, no one had ever seen the divine eye between the celestial eye demon emperor's brows open. That was because anyone who had seen the divine eye open was already dead. In the entire Nanling Mountains, there was absolutely no one who could force the celestial eye demon emperor to open his heavenly eye among those of the same cultivation level. However, Haitian had forced the celestial eye demon emperor to use his killer move. The heavenly eye between the celestial eye demon emperor's brows vibrated, and rays of divine light shot out, piercing through the void, directly penetrating the small universe around him, and shooting outside. Haitian could not help but slow down when he saw that. He sensed danger. Once the heavenly eye between the celestial eye demon emperor's brows opened, everything would probably be destroyed. This guy is actually so powerful? Haitian sensed that the heavenly eye between the celestial eye demon emperor's brows was condensing a terrifying power. Rays of divine light shot out from it, and they were already able to destroy the void and break open the small universe. Several rays of divine light rushed into Haitian's starry sky, instantly wiping out countless large stars and almost tearing the starry sky apart. The power of the stars could not withstand the divine light of the extreme path. Just a few rays of divine light already had such power. What would happen if the heavenly eye were to really open? It was unimaginable. Chapter 1204. Haitian fought against the heavenly eye demon emperor, and the two of them displayed supreme divine techniques. Heaven and earth were collapsing, and it was as terrifying as a duel between two ancient gods and demons. Rumble! The power of the stars drawn by Mahakala transformed into a starry sky that clashed head-on with the small universe of the heavenly eye demon emperor. The heavenly eye demon emperor's great technique, which was known to be invincible, was shaken by Mahakala. Absolute power could surpass all magical techniques. No matter how powerful one's magical powers were, they could not compare to that ultimate attack. The heavens and earth shook, and the power of the stars spread in all directions. 100 suns appeared in the starry sky, and the huge star above Haitian's head emitted an unprecedented power, which had the power to crush the heavens. The power of the divine weapon of a great cultivator had been exerted to a terrifying extent by him. A mighty imperial might filled the heavens and earth, and everyone was shocked. Even the heavenly eye demon emperor had to be serious at this time. The combat power that the other party had displayed had exceeded his expectations. This person, like him, was about to cut the way. If it had been in ancient times, people like the heavenly eye demon emperor and Haitian would have long cut the way and become powerful cultivators of the way. Cutting the way was a threshold, an insurmountable mountain in front of the celestial emperor. In the current world, it was almost impossible to become a saint, and cutting the way was about to become a dead end. For 10,000 years, only the Emperor Xian of the Eastern Land, Yuan Gu, had successfully cut the way and become an emperor. He had risen in the heaven realm and dominated the Eastern Land. 10,000 years ago, it was a great era. Everyone thought that the road to becoming a saint would open in that great era, and that the world would change. However, in the end, countless cultivators fell, and the blood of immortals and gods dyed every battlefield red. Thousands of corpses had only helped one person cut the way. The heavenly eye demon emperor had evolved into a universe, and he was innately invincible. However, Haitian had mobilized the power of the stars with all his strength, condensing a terrifying power that was enough to shake the small universe. The invincible great technique was being challenged by an unprecedented power. The starry sky was shattering, and the microcosm was collapsing. The power of destruction surged out, and the surrounding mountains kept collapsing. Spatial cracks spread out in all directions. Two extremely powerful forces collided, and neither could truly suppress the other. Buzz! The huge planet above Mahakala's head was shaking. Ripples that were visible to the naked eye spread out like water waves. This was the power of the stars that was visible to the naked eye. The entire starry sky lit up. Haitian continued to press forward. The small void universe was suppressed to the point of collapsing inwards. The body of the heavenly eye demon emperor swayed continuously. He had received quite a bit of an impact, and Eben made him feel a sense of danger. This was something he had never encountered when fighting against someone of the same level. The celestial eye demon emperor was the emperor among the emperors, and he was known as the emperor among emperors. He was said to be invincible among his peers, and none of the emperors of the same level were his match. The fact that Haitian could make him feel a sense of danger was unacceptable to the celestial eye demon emperor. The celestial eye demon emperor stared at Haitian, who was still pressing forward step by step, and said coldly, "You are the first among the emperors to die under my celestial eye demon emperor." Then, the closed divine eye between his eyebrows began to vibrate gently. Rays of divine light that emitted an endless aura of destruction burst out from the gap of his divine eye. A terrifying destructive power was emitted from the divine eye between the eyebrows of the celestial eye demon emperor. "Humph! You are the first to die under my yin-yang reincarnation eye," Haitian sneered. His opponent had cultivated the celestial eye demon emperor, but he had also cultivated a great technique. "Die!" The celestial eye demon emperor roared angrily, and his long hair fluttered despite there being no wind. Rays of divine light of destruction burst out from between his eyebrows, and the eyelids of his divine eye twitched. Whoosh! One of the divine eyes opened, and a destructive power rushed out from between the eyebrows of the celestial eye demon emperor. Then, the void in front of the celestial eye demon emperor collapsed. Boom! The heavens and the earth shook, and the weather changed. An extremely terrifying power engulfed everything in an instant. The starry sky around Haitian shook violently, and the endless power of the stars was engulfed by a strange power. The starry sky was collapsing, and the big stars were exploding. Even Haitian could not help but fly forward, which made Haitian turn pale with fright. The divine eye between the eyebrows of the celestial eye demon emperor opened. It was a terrifying divine eye that represented destruction. As long as one was shrouded by the destructive light of the divine eye, one would be turned into ashes. That divine eye seemed to be connected to a world of destruction. In the divine eye, only the power of destruction was surging and mighty. That power was enough to destroy everything. The eye of destruction? It's too terrifying. It can destroy the entire void with a single glance. I can't believe he has cultivated such a supreme magic. Everyone who was watching the battle from afar was stunned by the scene in front of them. They did not expect such a situation to occur when the divine eye opened. The destructive aura emitted by the eye of destruction made everyone's hearts palpitate. The celestial eye demon emperor was already invincible among those of the same level. Even a mighty cultivator of the severing path would probably be engulfed by the divine eye behind the divine eye and be completely obliterated. Haitian Gu Fei was also shocked when he saw this scene. He could not watch Haitian be engulfed by the eye of destruction. He was about to make a move, but at that moment, a divine light also rushed out from between Haitian's eyebrows. It was a black and white divine light that was intertwined with the power of yin and yang. Then, the void trembled and the way flowed. The power of yin and yang that rushed out from between Haitian's eyebrows turned into a sword of the way. It cut through the void between heaven and earth and the destructive power emitted by the eye of destruction of the celestial eye demon emperor. Haitian manifested the great path of yin and yang. A divine eye also appeared between his eyebrows. The divine eye contained the power of yin and yang. The way flowed and the yin and yang intertwined, attracting a trace of the power of the great path. One eye of reincarnation! He Tian shouted, and the sword of the way condensed from the power of yin and yang disappeared in the void. Then, a strange power surged out from He Tian's divine eye. Then, the world seemed to be in chaos. A pitch-black whirlpool appeared between He Tian's eyebrows. The pitch-black whirlpool quickly became larger and shrouded the front. It seemed to be a reincarnation passage that connected to the legendary 9 serenities of hell. He Tian wanted to force the celestial eye demon emperor into reincarnation. The eye of reincarnation. It's the eye of reincarnation. Some of the old antiques of the heaven realm were shocked when they saw this. Some of them even cried out in fear, as if they had seen something unbelievable. What? The celestial eye demon emperor was shocked. The other party had also cultivated a divine eye, and it was the legendary eye of yin-yang reincarnation. Such a supreme technique was extremely terrifying. It could send one into reincarnation with a single look. In the past, someone had cultivated such a great technique. The power of yin and yang intertwined, as if it had really attracted the power of reincarnation. The pitch-black whirlpool shrouded the front, and nothing could stop it. The eye of destruction of the celestial eye demon emperor was gradually suppressed. The power of destruction was constantly dispelled by the pitch-black whirlpool, and all the power was unable to resist the power of reincarnation. Who is this person? He has actually cultivated the eye of reincarnation. This person seems to be someone that the South Mountains demon emperor brought. Is he the subordinate of the crown prince? Everyone was discussing in low voices, and everyone was extremely shocked. No one would have thought that someone had actually cultivated the 2 legendary divine eyes. The power of destruction and reincarnation clashed. It was obvious that the power of reincarnation that He Tian had attracted could suppress the power of destruction of the celestial eye demon emperor. This was a battle between 2 supreme techniques, and it did not cost anything. There were Tao rhymes flowing between the eyebrows of He Tian and the celestial eye demon emperor, shining with dazzling divine light. Boom! The void between heaven and earth collapsed, and the power of reincarnation completely shattered the power of destruction. The small universe around the celestial eye demon emperor instantly collapsed, and he roared as he was sent flying thousands of feet away. Humph! Emperor of emperors? That's all there is to you! He Tian changed his usual frivolous demeanor and became majestic. The huge star above his head was unparalleled as he pressed forward. The eye of reincarnation between his eyebrows opened and closed, and the pitch-black reincarnation vortex shrouded the celestial eye demon emperor who was sent flying. At this time, the mountain was silent, and everyone was stunned. The celestial eye demon emperor was actually defeated, and everyone could not believe what they had seen. This was the celestial eye demon emperor, the emperor of emperors. He was not called the emperor of emperors for nothing. The supreme small universe made him invincible, and countless powerful opponents had died under his small universe. The eye of destruction was even more terrifying. No one had seen the celestial eye demon emperor open his divine eye, because those who had seen him open his divine eye were all dead. Damn it! The celestial eye demon emperor was furious, and his long hair stood up. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, and his face was extremely ferocious. He looked like an injured ancient beast. He had actually lost, and he could not accept this reality. A stream of scarlet blood flowed from the divine eye between his eyebrows. His divine eye had been seriously injured, and it was difficult for him to open it. Is the invincible emperor going to be finished? How is this possible? Unbelievable! Where did this person come from? He actually defeated the emperor of emperors. Everyone saw that He Tian had suppressed the celestial eye demon emperor. The eye of reincarnation had broken the eye of destruction. Everyone felt like they were in a dream, and the scene seemed so unreal. At this time, the reincarnation vortex in the sky became larger, covering the sky and the earth. It was about to hit the celestial eye demon emperor into the reincarnation passage. At this time, a figure rushed out from the body of the celestial eye demon emperor. An old man stood in front of the celestial eye demon emperor, emitting an aura that shocked all living beings in the world. It was a wisp of saintly might. A semi-saint? Chapter 1205. He Tian displayed the great yin-yang technique. His yin-yang reincarnation eyes penetrated reincarnation and opened the legendary gate of hell. He wanted to force the celestial eye demon emperor into reincarnation. Seeing that the celestial eye demon emperor was doomed, a figure rushed out of his body without any warning. It was an old man dressed in white. His figure was blurry, and one could see his white beard fluttering in front of his chest. However, no one could see his true appearance. The old man seemed to have merged with the Great Way, giving off an extremely powerful sense of oppression. He looked down on all living beings in the world, causing the world to pale in comparison. This is an incarnation of a saint? No, it should be the will of a half-saint. Something had happened. This old man wasn't a real person. He was just a phantom that seemed like it could be blown away by a gust of wind. However, it was this phantom that made Mahakala feel a great sense of danger. Who dares to hurt my descendant? A wave of will came from the faint, unsubstantial figure. A wisp of holy might lingered in the world, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. Great Ancestor! The celestial eye demon emperor did not seem to know that he had been planted with a will of will. He could not help but be surprised and happy. He had definitely escaped from death this time. Humph! It's just a wisp of will. If it was your real body, I might have had some scruples. He Tian sneered, and a hint of disdain appeared on his face. It was the will of a half-saint that had been planted in the celestial eye demon emperor's body. It would only take form if the celestial eye demon emperor's life was threatened. How dare you! No one has ever dared to be presumptuous in front of me. The faint, unsubstantial figure sent out an angry wave of will. Although it was only an incarnation of will, it still displayed supreme majesty. As if his real body had descended, the aura that emanated from the old man made everyone watching the battle from afar feel a sense of fear. I'm presumptuous in front of you. What can you do about it? He Tian did not say anything else. The power of yin and yang intertwined at the center of his brows, and the Taoist rhymes circulated. The pitch-black reincarnation vortex swallowed the incarnation of the will. The reincarnation vortex seemed to have connected with the cycle of reincarnation and opened the gates of hell. An extremely terrifying aura surged out from the vortex. The old man didn't say anything else. The current situation could no longer be benevolent. The old man in white stretched out his right hand and gently pressed upwards. Bam! The pitch-black whirlpool trembled before collapsing. The samsara whirlpool had actually been shattered by a single palm strike from the old man. This scene shocked everyone to the extreme. This old man was merely a manifestation of a strand of his will, yet he was able to display such great power. It was truly unbelievable. Roar! The reincarnation vortex was shattered, and Erebus roared in rage as he was sent flying backward. He had received a tremendous blow, and his head was spinning. His head felt like it was going to split open, and he almost passed out. He Tian was sent flying thousands of meters away. Another stream of blood seeped out from the center of his brows and flowed down He Tian's devilishly handsome face. The samsara whirlpool formed by the yin-yang reincarnation eye had been shattered, causing He Tian's yin-yang god eye to be severely injured. It would be difficult for him to use it again in the near future. How dare you injure my descendant? You truly deserve to die. The old man did not conceal his divine sense at all. Every cultivator there could sense it. The old man's killing intent towards Mai Tian had been aroused. Bam! As he spoke, the old man pressed forward with his palm again. There was no dazzling divine light, nor was there a monstrous wave of immortal force. However, there was a Tao rhyme circulating on the old man's palm. Although this attack wasn't an earth-shattering move, it was even more frightening than those techniques that could shatter the heavens and rend the earth. The old man seemed to have fused with the Tao. On his palm, the power of the Tao surged. This was the power of the Tao. A half-sage could already use a trace of the power of the Tao for their own use. Boom! Without any suspense, a muffled sound was heard. Haitian was sent flying thousands of meters away by the old man's palm. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and he looked extremely miserable. This strike had almost killed my Tian. All the bones in his body had been shattered, and shocking cracks had appeared on his body. So powerful! Haitian fell from the sky. Then, his consciousness fell into endless darkness and he fainted. The impact just now was too great. Swoosh! Gu Fei took a step forward and appeared under Haitian. He reached out and caught him. Then, he opened up his inner world and threw Haitian into it. I didn't expect you to have cultivated a small world at such a young age. All the more reason why I can't let you live. The old man who rushed out of the celestial-eyed demon emperor's body suddenly had a murderous aura. Bam! A huge hand broke through the void and appeared above Gu Fei's head. It emitted a terrifying wave of energy and grabbed at Gu Fei. The huge hand enveloped the entire world and sealed off a part of the void. Divine inscriptions appeared indistinctly in the surrounding void, sealing off the area where Gu Fei was. Forcing me to fight? Gu Fei raised his head and looked at the huge hand that was grabbing at him. His pupils shrank involuntarily. A half-saint was indeed an invincible existence in the whole world. Just a strand of his divine will could easily defeat Haitian. Now, the divine will of this half-saint wanted to kill Gu Fei as well. The 3 realms and 6 Tao were about to usher in a great era that happened once every 10,000 years. The path to becoming a saint would probably appear in this 10,000-year cycle. The path to becoming a saint was destined to be paved with white bones. This old man actually wanted to kill a genius of the human clan in the cradle. It was really despicable to do this. However, there was no other way. Everyone wanted someone in their clan to become a saint. Flawless 5 elements fist! Gu Fei roared furiously, his long hair fluttering wildly. Boundless martial path true power erupted from his body, and then crazily gathered towards Gu Fei's right fist. Boom! The fist power was monstrous, and shook the whole world. On top of Gu Fei's fist, there was endless 5-colored divine light flickering. In the 5-colored divine light, there seemed to be 5 small worlds revolving. The power of the 5 elements intertwined. Gu Fei's fist fiercely collided with the huge hand that was descending from the sky. The power of the flawless 5 elements shattered the whole void of the world. Terrifying energy waves spread in all directions. The ground was shaking violently and a few terrifying abysses appeared. In the abyss, there seemed to be ancient fighting souls roaring. It was a few dangerous places. The huge hand that the old man had sent out dissipated in the void. Gu Fei's fist power had also reached its strongest level. After dissolving the old man's sure-kill attack, it was also completely cancelled out. Gu Fei was shaken down from the sky by a powerful force. Boom! Like a meteor falling from the sky, the whole ground was crushed by Gu Fei's feet. Within a radius of 100 miles, everything on the ground no longer existed. The ground was shaking violently like waves. What? The old man couldn't believe that this guy could actually resist his attack. Could it be that Yishuan's body was so strong that it could be compared to a real dragon? The strength of Gu Fei's body really surprised the old man. The people watching from afar couldn't help but be dumbfounded when they saw that Gu Fei could actually contend with the divine will incarnation of a half-step saint. Although it was only an incarnation of the divine will, it was still a half-step saint. How could an emperor of the celestial being realm withstand the attack of the divine will incarnation of a half-step saint? Half-step sage had the word sage in it. Even if he wasn't a true sage, he was already close to one. Anything on a half-step sage was a supreme treasure. A strand of hair from a half-step saint could kill a peak expert. It was as easy as flipping a palm for the incarnation of a half-step saint to kill an emperor of the celestial being realm. However, no one expected that Gu Fei actually had the terrifying strength to go against the natural order and kill a half-step saint. It's my turn! Gu Fei shot up into the sky. Purple divine light flashed from his brow, and a little purple person sat cross-legged on his forehead, surging with the power of his primordial spirit. The primordial spirit he had unexpectedly obtained came in handy at this time. Gu Fei used the power of his primordial spirit to display the divine seizure secret art, one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path. The little purple person walked out from between Gu Fei's eyebrows. Then the little purple person turned into a beam of divine light of the great path and shot toward the old man. The power of the great path tore through the void, emitting a terrifying aura of destruction. The old man was only an incarnation of a half-step saint's divine will, while the divine seizure secret art specialized in killing primordial spirits. It was the old man's nemesis. The old man was shocked to the extreme when he saw Gu Fei use the 9 secrets of the immortal path. He seemed to recognize this secret art, but he didn't dare to fight it head-on. He flew backward. The speed of the incarnation of the will was extremely fast. However, the demon emperor of Celestial Eye was right behind the incarnation of the will of the old man. The incarnation retreated with the demon emperor of Celestial Eye, but the divine light of the great path formed by Gu Fei's primordial spirit flashed by. The lower half of the old man's body was cut off along with the demon emperor of Celestial Eye's legs. Ah! The demon emperor of Celestial Eye roared. He had never been so severely injured since he began cultivating. This made him, who was extremely proud, feel humiliated and angry. Ancestor, kill him for me. The demon emperor of Celestial Eye roared. His legs were cut off at the knees by the divine light of the great path. For a moment, he was unable to regenerate his flesh and heal his injured body. Injuries of the great path were the most difficult to heal. The demon emperor of Celestial Eye might become a crippled demon emperor in the future. 9 secrets of the immortal path. You actually obtained the 9 secrets of the immortal path. Is this the legendary divine seizure secret art? The old man was completely shocked. His incarnation of the will had been cut off at the waist, and there was no way for him to recover. Only the upper half of the incarnation of the will of the old man remained. The lower half had already dissipated in the void, and the power of his will was immediately greatly reduced. What, the 9 secrets of the immortal path? That person actually used the 9 secrets of the immortal path? Haven't the 9 secrets of the immortal path been lost for countless years? Chapter 1206. The 9 secrets of immortal Tao were said to be 9 immortal killing techniques created by Tao Ancestors Supreme Tao. Each of the killing techniques had incredible power. Some said that they were the embodiment of the 9 immortal laws that Tao Ancestor Supreme Tao had comprehended, and were the carriers of the great Tao. However, the 9 immortal killing techniques were no longer complete during the primordial era. No one expected Gu Fei to use one of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao. His primordial spirit transformed into a beam of light that instantly destroyed half of the old man's body and cut off the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor's legs. This was an injury of the great Tao that was difficult to heal. The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor roared in anger and desperately activated the demonic power in his body, wanting to regrow his flesh and repair his legs. However, no matter how much demonic power he had, his wounds were still bleeding. It was the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor's blood essence that he could not even stop bleeding. He could not help but panic. Swoosh! The old man extended his hand and wiped it across the Heavenly Eye Demon Emperor's legs. The Heavenly Eye Demon Emperor's wounds immediately stopped bleeding, helping the Heavenly Eye Demon Emperor stop bleeding. Go! Go quickly! The old man's voice sounded in the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor's mind. This was the fluctuation of the old man's divine will. The old man did not have a physical body and was a clone formed by a divine will. The divine will incarnation was cut in half by Gu Fei using the godly snatch secret technique, one of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao. Only half of the body was left. The old man's divine will power was cut in half. Swoosh! The Celestial Eye Demon Emperor did not hesitate. He rushed into the sky and fled into the distance. His opponent was so powerful that even the divine will that the old ancestor had planted in him was cut in half. He would not be able to leave if he did not leave now. The invincible celestial-eyed demon emperor fled? Who are these two? They actually defeated the celestial-eyed demon emperor, who is said to be invincible among his peers. The celestial-eyed demon emperor seems to be very close to the demonic half-saint, Yao Tian. Some people talked in low voices. They had seen the demonic half-saint Yao Tian retreat from the great tomb in defeat, and this He Tian seemed to be a friend of the demon emperor. Everyone thought of many things. He Tian, Shaoqing, and the others had been following the old turtle ever since they met the old turtle. This time, He Tian and the others had followed the old turtle to the area near the Red Plains. Many people had seen He Tian, Shaoqing, and the demon emperor enter the sky city with the old turtle. The various powers in the heaven realm were very well informed, especially when it came to everything related to the crown prince. The various powers in the heaven realm were even more interested. To emperor, the dragon emperor to be, he. The old turtle's background was simply too great. The supreme emperor was a supreme expert who had shocked an entire era. He was invincible under the heavens and was revered by everyone under the heavens. He could compete with any extreme path saint. Even the ferocious Xian Huang, who had rampaged through the primordial era, had to take a detour when he saw the Grand Emperor. All the cultivators in the heaven realm wanted to know how the son of the Supreme Emperor survived the dark times of ancient times. As a demon saint, he didn't disappear like the other saints. Of course, the old tortoise's current cultivation level was only at the peak of the almighty realm, still one step away from the half-saint realm. His cultivation level had been weakened to the extreme. If Gu Fei hadn't accidentally stumbled into the peerless ominous formation in the virtual sky world, the old tortoise would probably have died in another 1,000 or 2,000 years. Today's world had changed. The Great Way was almost untouchable, and it was almost impossible to become a sage. Even becoming a semi-sage was extremely difficult. How could it be easy for the old tortoise to restore his demon sage cultivation? Ever since the return of the Crown Prince, the Goblin clan in the Heaven Realm had been turbulent, and there were signs of internal strife. Many people supported Yao Tiandu as the Demon Lord. If the old tortoise hadn't returned, no one would have been able to compete with him for the position of Demon Lord. But now that the old tortoise had returned, the old subordinates of the Grand Emperor, who had maintained a wait-and-see attitude, immediately stood up and supported the Grand Emperor to become the Demon Lord of the world. Among the demons, the most senior group wanted to support the old tortoise as the Demon Lord, and no one dared to object. Even those who were originally on Yao Tiandu's side were hesitant. The old subordinates of the Grand Emperor had been asleep for countless years and didn't care about the affairs of the Demon clan. However, the old tortoise's return and the old subordinates of the Grand Emperor woke up from their slumber, and the entire Demon clan was completely shaken. Yao Tiandu, who was originally high up, was cast aside and fell from the sky to the ground. That kind of grievance and depression was absolutely unimaginable to others. Even so, there were still some people who supported Yao Tiandu. These were the new generation of demons, and the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor was one of them. Everyone knew that the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor and Yao Tiandu were very close. He stood up to oppose He Tian, and his various motives were thought-provoking. This was an internal matter of the Demon clan, and no one was willing to talk about it. "Where do you think you're going?" As soon as He Tian saw that the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor wanted to escape, he immediately chased after him. The power of the stars was mighty, and the yin-yang divine eye between his eyebrows opened again. Whoosh! The power of yin and yang intertwined, forming a yin-yang divine light that pierced the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor, who had lost his legs, in an attempt to kill him. Void microcosm. The Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor roared angrily, and an unfathomable power suddenly surged from his body. A pitch-black void spread from his body, as if a cosmic void was evolving around him. The divine light shot out from He Tian's yin-yang divine eye. Demon Emperor shot into the microcosm around the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor's body, and it was immediately engulfed like a clay ox entering the sea. The great technique that the Celestial-Eye Demon Emperor cultivated was known to be untouchable, and it was difficult to break through his microcosm no matter how powerful or unparalleled it was. Unless one used absolute power to directly break through his microcosm, he would be a supreme god as long as he stood in the microcosm. How dare you! The old man's body emitted a wave of angry divine thoughts, and he directly slapped his palm at He Tian, and a trace of Tao power erupted from his palm. Boom! The void in front of the old man's palm was instantly destroyed, and then an extremely terrifying destructive power was formed, rushing towards He Tian. He Tian could not help but be shocked. The old man's palm was very powerful, and it triggered the destructive power of heaven and earth. Even a powerful figure would probably be shocked when faced with such an attack. He Tian was about to dodge, but at that moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of He Tian, and then blasted forward. Bam! The divine light of the 5 elements surged from the fist, as if there were 5 small worlds emerging from the fist, and the endless power of the 5 elements directly penetrated heaven and earth. Boom! There was a loud sound, and heaven and earth shook. The fist and the old man's palm collided, and a terrifying power wave spread in all directions. A circle of transparent ripples that could be seen with the naked eye spread out. Your opponent is me. Gu Fei withdrew his fist, and the old man also retreated. The person who took the old man's palm was Gu Fei, and only Gu Fei would help He Tian. Humph! Celestial Eye, you're dead, and no one can save you. When He Tian saw that Gu Fei had blocked the old man, he no longer had any worries, and then immediately chased after the Celestial Eye Demon Emperor, who was trying to escape. The two of them were extremely fast, and in an instant they rushed hundreds of miles away. The cultivators in front of them all retreated to the sides. Chapter 1207. Gu Fei blocked the old man. His fist force was like a mountain. Even a spirit clone of a peak half-saint would find it hard to break through and kill He Tian. Although the old man was furious, there was nothing he could do. His opponent's 9 secrets of the immortal Tao was his nemesis. He had no choice but to be careful. One of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, Divine Snatch. Although it was only one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, there were all sorts of transformations and killing moves. Gu Fei didn't have a primordial spirit before, so he couldn't use the transformations of the secret art. That was because the true power of the secret art could only be displayed with the power of the primordial spirit. On the other hand, Gu Fei cultivated the supreme martial way. His body was the source of his power, so there was no need for him to cultivate his primordial spirit. This was because he had already cultivated the life imprint into every part of his body. However, he accidentally obtained a primordial spirit, which allowed him to display the various transformations of the secret art. He finally mastered the secret art of the immortal Tao. Whoosh! Gu Fei didn't say much. He immediately used the secret art. A purple divine light surged out from his forehead, as if a divine eye had opened. A small purple figure appeared between his eyebrows. Then, with a flicker, it turned into a purple light with Tao runes flowing around it, and rushed towards the old man. This was a supreme killing move derived from the secret art of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. It used the power of the primordial spirit to transform into a divine light of the great Tao that could destroy everything. Nothing could stop it. The light of the primordial spirit was extremely fast. With the Tao runes flowing around it, it tore through the void. It was a destructive light that left a pitch-black spatial crack wherever it passed. The old man was shocked when he saw it. He immediately rushed up into the sky in an attempt to escape. He only had the upper half of his body left. If he was struck by the light of the primordial spirit, there would only be one result: he would be killed. Such a killing move was impossible to resist. If his real body was here, he wouldn't be afraid. However, this was only a spirit clone. Even though divinity incarnations were capable of executing all sorts of powerful techniques, they were ultimately just incarnations. The strength that they could display would probably not even be 1,000th of their true selves. Of course, if it had been an ordinary celestial being realm emperor, This divine will clone would have killed as many of them as they came. However, Gu Fei was not an ordinary emperor. The god-snatching secret technique was the nemesis of all divine wills and primordial spirits. No matter how powerful the opponent's primordial spirit and divine will were, they could not withstand an attack from the divine light of the great path formed by Gu Fei's primordial spirit. This kind of great art specialized in attacking the primordial spirit. Without any suspense, the divine light of the great path that shot out from between Gu Fei's eyebrows caught up to the half of the old man's will incarnation in an instant. Then, with a twist, the half of the old man's will incarnation also dissipated in the void. Everyone who saw this scene was shocked. This kind of great art was too terrifying and impossible to defend against. It specialized in attacking the primordial spirit. If one was hit by this divine light of the great path, there would only be one outcome: one's spirit would be directly scattered, leaving only a body behind. There were many demons among the spectators. Some wanted to stand up for the celestial eye demon emperor, but they were stopped by the people next to him. If even the celestial eye demon emperor was no match for him, then these people were definitely no match for Gu Fei. Everyone's hearts trembled in fear. This young cultivator was too powerful. He had actually destroyed the divine will incarnation. One must know that it was the divine will incarnation of an existence that even the celestial eye demon emperor had to call an ancestor. Just as Gu Fei killed the primordial spirit incarnation, an old man who was in a deep sleep in an ancient cave residence in the depths of the Nanling Mountains suddenly opened his eyes. Whoosh! 2 rays of divine light pierced through the void and shot out from the old man's eyes. The dazzling divine light illuminated the entire ancient cave residence. "Who is it? How dare you destroy a wisp of my divine will? Tian'er is in danger!" The old man suddenly sat up on a purple jade bed and disappeared from the bed. In the next moment, the old man's figure appeared in the sky above the Nanling Mountains. Whoosh! The old man broke through the void and directly traveled in the void, heading out of the Nanling Mountains. At this moment, Gu Fei killed the old man's divine will incarnation. However, at the same time, he also sensed a few murderous intents coming from nearby. These murderous intents were directed at him. Humph! Gu Fei sneered and kept pointing. Pfft! On a mountain 300 miles away, a cloud of blood exploded. Gu Fei had killed an expert of the demon race who wanted to kill him with a single point of his finger. There were other cultivators on that mountain. There were a few other great demons standing beside the great demon. These great demons were all splattered with blood. Everyone was shocked. No one had thought that Gu Fei would attack the other demon clan's experts. What Gu Fei did next was even more shocking. He attacked continuously, and killed the remaining great demons who wanted to kill him on the spot. None of them could escape. This kind of ruthless method shocked everyone. For a moment, the surrounding area was terrifyingly quiet. Everyone was shocked to the extreme. This person killed the demon emperors as if he was chopping melons and vegetables. The great demons that Gu Fei killed were all demon emperors. Is he crazy? Does he want to start a war with the entire demon race? This is crazy. I'm afraid the old turtles of the demon race are going to be furious. Gu Fei killed the tree demon emperor one after another. This made everyone who saw this scene dumbfounded. It should be known that every demon emperor that came from the Nanling Mountains was an expert who had experienced hundreds of battles. Behind every demon emperor was a powerful force. Gu Fei was indeed too bold to kill these demon emperors who wanted to kill him. The people behind these demon emperors would not let this matter rest. However, Gu Fei didn't have any expectations. Everything he did came directly from his heart, without the slightest shackles. He was free to do as he pleased. After going through a series of battles, Gu Fei's state of mind had improved a lot. Humph! If you want to kill me, do it. Otherwise, you won't have the chance, Gu Fei said coldly. His eyes swept across a group of demons. All the demon experts did not dare to look him in the eye. At this time, no one dared to have the intention to kill Gu Fei. This person was too terrifying and unparalleled. He did not have any scruples in doing things. If he wanted to kill, he would kill. He did not care how powerful the person's background was. It was not worth it to die like this. You deserve to die! Just as Gu Fei shocked everyone and all the demon experts present did not dare to make a sound, a figure appeared silently in front of him. A cold voice was transmitted into the ears of everyone present. The person who had suddenly appeared was a black-clothed young man. Gu Fei was no stranger to this person. It was Yao Tiandu, the demon race's sage-to-be who had been chased away by the old tortoise.